Here we are at the final of Night Owl Season 15, the 99th race since Night Owl started just over 3 years ago. Will Jordan Daly get enough points to take the championship win, or will he be stopped from getting that second Champ Cup by the three-time Night Owl champion, Harry Conway? Hello and welcome back to Night Owl. My name is Ted Edwards, and joining me on the mic to my left is Kevin Boss. On my right is Jesse Lee, and on the cameras this time around is Cormac Malloy. How are we doing, guys? I'll start with Kevin first. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. It's very good to be back on the mic again, and just like last time I was on, it's Night Owl. Last time I came on after a wet race. Now it is a wet race. I can't wait to see how this championship design is going to go, because it's tight everywhere.
It sure is. How are you doing, Jesse?
Well, it's a special night, Ted and Kevin. It's a special night for all of us here at RCI. Not only do we have the conclusion of another fantastic Night Owl season, we've got a couple of champions to crown. We decided tonight was the best night to go 3 wide in the box. That facilitated, of course, by Cormac running the cameras for us tonight. It's wet weather here at Hungaroring. We've seen that in Formula One over the years as well. I'll start with Ted. Ted, what do you expect to see from this race tonight in the wet?
Some close racing, hopefully. I have seen that the BMWs haven't been that strong in the wet, which is very surprising. I know it's not great in the dry around here, but in the wet it's not too great of a car. But we have to wait and see. Obviously, 12 minutes of qualifying, that just gives us the quali pace. Obviously, the race pace will be totally different with that fuel in the car, but I'm hoping for some nice close racing. Obviously, the championship's standings are pretty close. You'll get to see them after the qualifying results. Something to have a look at. It's going to be very nice to see, but I just have to wait and see what happens, because I'm not really seeing any of the cars. Really, I'm expecting the McLaren to do well, but yeah, it's one of those waiting games, waiting for the 11 minutes and 20 seconds to finish and see where everyone ends up, and then we can sort of draw a conclusion from that. But yeah, you've driven a few cars in ACC, Kevin. What do you expect to see in today's race?
Honestly, I'm not the best person to ask, because I've kind of got the same pace in every one of them. Doesn't matter if it's dry or wet. I'm actually, compared to most drivers, I do a bit better in the wet compared to the dry, like the difference between pace. But yeah, we saw already in free practice, like you said, the Beamers are struggling a little bit, as we now see Tim Ireland go through the final corner in the BMW's Team Schnitzer. Gonna come across the line. Let's see where that takes him in the 141 BMW, and that's quite off the pace.
Yeah, sure is. Grim Lilith went across in the pro category as well. They got a 151.967, so you see there it's 1.7 seconds off of the Mercedes of Tyler Jason Lavallee. They are pretty fast there. Ralph Huell just goes top with a 150.125, almost 10th difference between top two cars. As you see, Miguel Martins come across the line. What do they get? It's that very, very slow lap time. I wonder if they had a spin, as I hear from our camera guy tonight. Cormac just saying, yeah, they had a spin, which is you'd think it would be invalidated, but if they kept it in between the white lines on the track, then it will still be valid and it will still count. But yeah, we just have to wait and see. But a Porsche on top, followed by a Mercedes, followed by 2 Ferraris, and then you see Roman Frauler second off. It's in the silver class in the BMW number 6. So it's going to be interesting to see if anyone else can get up there. Like we see John Daly is back in 8th place, 1.3 seconds. As we see Conway going to the top, and then Tyler Jason Lavallee going even faster, 149.7 dead. So people are getting a bit more grip on the track. Probably the tyres are getting up to temperature. Just have to wait and see what happens. If Daly goes over to 4th, what does Justin Madley do as they come across the line? Second place with a 150.047, so very interesting indeed.
It does seem like everyone, like you said, now that the tyres are getting up to temperature, people are getting their eye in now with the lower fuel compared to what they might have been running in practice, as Tim Ireland crosses the line. Doesn't seem to improve, but now we have Ash Bibby here in a 60 nice BMW crossing the line, and also not an improvement for him. So it does seem like some of these guys are struggling a little bit to keep the car facing the right direction and getting the most out of this very wet condition.
Yeah, sure is. Got to remember as well, this is Ash's first champ. It will be his first time he's going to complete a champ. He did retire in one of the races. He didn't have a good race, unfortunately. He was hoping for the rain, and the rain didn't come. But he's doing very well. You know, for your first championship to complete 4 out of the 5 races, you know, that's 90% of the championship. He's doing very well for himself, and you know, he's doing a respectable lap time of 155.1 in the way around Hungaroring's not easy. It's a very tricky track, especially with the chicane that is so easy to get track cuts on, and can throw the car all over the place. And you know, a lot of these exit curbs have got the green AstroTurf, which is very slippy, and the curbs don't help either. So he's doing an excellent job there. Only a second off Tim Ireland. Tim Ireland, someone who we've seen around ACC in RCI for a very long time as well. So you know, he's doing very well for himself, and you only can improve from here. As we see Daly come across the line, does he improve? No, he doesn't. But yeah, it's getting a little bit close now. There's one car that is way off in the lead in Pro and overall. With 7 minutes left to go, what do you think is going to happen tonight, Jesse? Do you think someone's going to shine out of the crowd here, or do you think it's going to be a Conway or Daly win tonight?
Well, I think the most interesting possible outcome that's not Daly or Conway winning is somebody else coming in there and stinking up the show in the series finale, and then making it even closer on championship points between those two. I think it's a high opportunity, a high likelihood that happens out there tonight. The question is, who might that be? And can Harry Conway, can Jordan Daly rise to the occasion and prove that, nope, this has been our championship all season long, and we are the ones that are going to show up and show out here in the final race? Both those drivers, a little bit of work to do here just after halfway in quali.
Yeah, 6 minutes left, so not too long to go. No one really improving as of yet. So Mike Redford actually is improving by quite a bit. Can he hold on to the lap? We'll just have to wait and see as we see Harry Conway come up to the line. His last lap was an improvement of a 150.060 as he starts a new lap now, just coming out the pit lane. That was his warm-up. Here comes Redford. He has lost a lot of time in the last sector, so getting a few of those corners wrong. He does improve, does go provisional pole in the silver class with a 150.542, but there is a few guys at the back end of the grid improving, some at the front end sort of improving, but it's, you know, once you've got a really good lap in, it's very hard to improve on.
One of the guys I am looking at as well is currently in P11 is Joel Dauber in the 777 Audi, because he is in there perhaps with an outside shout of getting the win in this championship, but most likely it's going to either be Daly or Conway. Speaking of Daly, he just put himself into P2 before going into the pits again, probably getting a fresh set of boots and having another go there. But yeah, with Dauber being in P3, seems like compared to all the others, he is struggling a little bit, but maybe the light fuel in this car doesn't really work in the wet. Maybe the Audi doesn't work at Hungaroring. But yeah, maybe he can bring it in the race and actually challenge those two for a proper fight for the podium.
Yeah, the championship is the standards are something to look at, which, like I say again, I can't wait to get around to it and show everybody how close it is. But yeah, I don't think Dauber was here for the last race. No, he wasn't here for Laguna. So he's been out for 2 weeks now. First time coming back. Hopefully he can improve on his lap time, and he doesn't. He's half a second, or just over half a second off his best. So he's struggling a bit in his wet conditions in that Audi, which is very surprising to see. Seeing that Audi's not being so strong, and see Miguel Martins is there with him as well. They're both in 11th and 12th. So they're quite far down the grid. The McLarens aren't as high up as I thought they would be. But the Porsche is with Raphael Huell. Here comes Snooty Flood, not improving on their lap time, but they are 1 second off of the overall pole position. So it's not too bad for a silver class car.
Guys, don't get lost in the Pro Championship. We've got 2 championships, of course, coming down to the wire here, silver included. Mike Redford holding on to that very slim, just about a 10th between him and McFlood, right? Redford stands the clearest to gain here. If they're able to get pole position, quickest lap, and win this race, they put a lot of pressure on championship leader Roman Frawler to finish right around the 4th, 5th place position. It's going to get real tight. If Mike Redford can win this race, have all the bonus points, that will make Roman Frawler have to finish on the podium here today. And currently he is 3rd quickest, but of course a wet weather race, potentially racing other cars. We've always seen the grid get mixed up here at the Hungaroring. It is an unsafe lead for Roman Frawler, in my opinion.
Chat saying, Lamborghini, the only car over blew an engine in. Didn't know you could do that in ACC. Well, yeah, there's a few cars you could do it in. Graham Lilith is sort of an expert at blowing engines, bless him. He's blown one in the AMG before, and I think he's done one in a GT4 as well. I think it was the Aston Martin. It's quite easy sometimes, especially in the wet. I've noticed. I've done it before where I've damaged the engine on a downshift, and it's when you hit puddles. It can over rev because obviously the wheel speed increases, and the in-car safety just doesn't pick it up, and yeah, it can rev over it should do, and it does damage the engine pretty quickly. But yeah, it's sort of a nice feature that you can damage the engine. Also, when you're driving it, it's not so fun because you do lose a lot of top end speed. But
Kevin Boss, you wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you?
Oh, totally not. Not that my teammates blew an engine in the RCI World Tour 12 hours of Monza. Or I also noticed with the Porsche Cup at Bathurst that it also happened down in towards the Dipper. You're just hitting that crest, wheel speed increases, and yeah, you over rev a little bit. And I think you can do it in every car. But yeah, it's definitely not fun once you have it, and if you blow the engine, because that'll leave you in the pits for a long time.
Well, 50 seconds to go of this qualifying session, and a few cars will make it to the line to start their final lap as Matitishu Kiniko, I can never say his name right, bless him. He is just come across the line to start his another lap there. It's in 12th place. Got Roman Fowler starting their lap as well. Like I say, not many people improving. I think a lot of people have hit their perfect lines through the corners and just can't improve. And you see the yellow flags, 333 and the 197 were off the track. That was both the BMWs in pro class, the Grim Lilith and Jordan Daly, different parts of the track, just not being able to get a better lap time. So they've just gone back to the garage to make sure their setups are all ready and that they've got the right amount of fuel in for the race. As the qualifying session has ended, everyone who's still on track, who is great on the minimap, can still complete a lap. You got the number 10 Indigo Lopez coming around to the second to final corner. This will be their final lap. The number 18 you see in front, invalidate, but they're coming in to make sure they get the pit entry just right. You don't want to be speeding in the pit lane because that will definitely hurt your chance at winning or getting a good place in the race. As Indigo comes across the line, they are up on their delta and they go fourth, provisional fourth at the moment, and that was a 151.085. Very nice that time indeed.
So we've got Tyson Jason LaValle now finishing the final two corners here at the Hungaroring, trying to snatch away that pole position from Raphael Huell. It's only 500 difference there, but he is around the same pace that he did before. He's crossing the line, and it's just not enough for Tyson Jason Tyler. Yeah, wow, I've got a difficulty with words today. Wow, Tyler Jason LaValle staying P2.
We do have those days where we can't get the words out of our mouth. Roman Fowler does not improve, stays in 5th, 12th overall. As we have 3 more cars, 13, 21 and 76 come across the line. Harry Conway comes across the line. He stays in 5th, I think that was. Yeah, no improvement there. See Ralph Hill, who is in pole at this moment in time, is not going to improve. Does finish their lap though. And that, I think, is everyone.
Raphael Huell comes in clutch with the pole position. Doesn't have any of the quickest sectors in that number 21 Porsche. We're reading chat as we always do here at RCI TV. Some of you quite fond of the Porsche here in the rain, and you would be correct. A 49.647, just good enough to take pole position from Tyler Jason LaValle in the Mercedes. That's 53/100ths the difference between opposite sides of the front row. Jordan Daly will win the battle of the championship contenders thus far. Here in qualifying, he'll start P3 in the 197 Star Wars themed BMW. More on that to come. Madley in 4th place. Conway will start just inside the top 5. And Conway has the quickest 3rd sector of all. LaValle has the quickest 1st and 2nd sector. Behind them is Mike Redford, the man who stands a chance at stabbing away and eking out a championship here in the final week. He'll take pole position. That's mini bonus points to him. That makes his race a little bit easier and will make it harder for Roman Fowler. You've got Sudi McFlude 2nd in that class. Miguel Martins in 9th place overall, but 3rd place in that category. A little bit of a gap between the front row and the rest of the field, fellas, but it does sort of balance out. Look how close they are from right around 9th on back. 1.36, 1.43, 1.438, 1.44, 1.55. Oh my goodness, it's close.
Yeah, it sure is. It's very nice to see when people are close like that, and you know, it's one of those things where you don't really know what's going to happen in the race because you know, qualifying times is so different from a race pace situation. But well, I just have to see what happens in a few minutes' time, as I believe we have some standings to have a look at. Well, here they are. 1 round to go. These are the standards for the pro category. We've got Jordan Daly sitting on top with 194 points, followed by 3 times night hour champion. That's such a long thing to say. Harry Conway with 181, trying to take his 4th win, trying to take the 2nd win away from Jordan Daly. Joe Dolber has signed out of tonight's race just a few minutes ago. Unfortunately, they got 160 points and not going to get any more in this champ. Timothy Flamigo is another person who has signed out tonight's race. They have 151, so they won't be getting any more points. Tyler Jason LaValle is in this race tonight, so they might be able to take away a 3rd place from this race tonight with 136. Got Emo Plate, Grim Lilith, and Raphael Huell 6th, 7th, and 8th. They've got 132, 130, and 120. Then 9th and 10th is Phil Roberts and Neil Pimlott, 111 and 105. So still pretty close between the top 10 there. And there'll be definitely some switch rounds tonight. Got George Barr in 11th, 102. And I have forgotten this person's name already. Jesse did say it. I've been a little bit busy.
Masatoshi Kaneko.
Thank you very much, Jesse Lee. They got 181 points sitting in 12th. 13th is Oliver Curtin with 78. Justin Madley in 14th with 31. And Marvin Steer has signed out of the championship, if I remember rightly. Now on to the silver category. We've got Roman Fowler on top of 198 points. 2 off that 200 score there. Got Indio Lopez with on 2nd with 181 points, followed by 1 point difference. Mike Redford in 3rd, 180 points. That's going to be a very interesting race tonight indeed. All points that, you know, they want to get to beat each other out there. It's going to be very interesting indeed. 4th, 5th, and 6th is Sahil Mustak, Vex Moondog, and Tim Island, 145, 133, and 121 points. And we got 7th is Lee Kettle with 112. 8th is Samuel Jordan with 75. 9th is Mr. Kevin Boss with 68.
That's me.
Wait, hang on a minute. What are you doing here? And then we got Ashley Bibby in 10th place with 56, a respectable 56 points indeed for Ashley. And
Better
then
if it was 57 though.
It sure would be. Miguel Martins is in 11th with 48. Tied with them in 12th is Callum Kerrigan. I think Callum Kerrigan did sign out tonight's race. Unfortunately, they are not on the grid, so they have signed out. So Miguel will beat them tonight. Sunil Fluid has joined us for the last round in the silver class, and he's got 13. He's in 13th with 0 points, and everyone else has signed out of the championship.
Well, it's quite close up at the top of both standings. So, Kevin, I'll start with you as it is that time of year. The spooky pumpkin car on the 21, Raphael Huell up in front of the field for AO Racing. Kevin, I'll start with you. There's a championship on the line. We've got a front row with contenders that are not really fighting for the championship. How does this work? As a driver that's been involved in both title fights and been on the grid when they are knowingly in front of a title fight, how do you go about this as a driver boss? If you are Raphael Huell, you're not really fighting for the champ, you know what's on the line for those other drivers. Do you approach the race differently?
For me, I haven't really been in the position that Raphael Huell is in at the moment. Same for Tyler Jason Navali. Like, they are not fighting for the championship, but they are at the front of the grid. For me, I'd be maybe a little bit naughty if maybe push that a little bit harder to stay ahead, because the only thing you can do now is win this race. The other guys, definitely looking at Daly and Conway, they really want to win this championship, so they won't be doing anything stupid to try and mess it up, because if they try and go for the overtake to get P1 and they get spun round, the championship goes to the other most likely. So if I was Raphael Huell or Tyler Jason Lavalley, I'd push a little bit harder.
Ted, opposite question. If you are Daly, if you are Conway, you're lined up on the inside row together. What do you do knowing that you're not on the front row? You're in danger here in the pack of cars. You know all season long you've been the best too. What's your plan of action in this race here to win this champ?
Oh, it's difficult. Obviously, these two are fighting very hard. They are obviously teammates. You can see by just looking at the deliveries that the good old Harry Conway has made. Always puts a good effort into them. You definitely tell them apart from the rest of the grid, but you know, being teammates, you still want to fight. They have said they are gonna fight in a friendly manner. They're not they're not enemies. They are just people that race on the track together and want to get the most points. But there is a championship here. Harry wants that fourth win, that fourth championship. Daly wants the second one, obviously, and it's one of those where it's so difficult. Daly can obviously defend and try and follow the cars in front if he doesn't have the pace. Harry then needs to try and get around him. And from what I've heard, the Ferrari is pretty good around here in the wet compared to the BMW. So if I was Daly, I'd be on the defensive quite a bit, but still trying to fight the cars in front to a degree. And then obviously, if I was Conway, I'd want to try and get past BMW as quick as I can.
Oh, of course. Do we maybe have the possibilities of a friendly Verstappen against Hamilton here with Conway already having won 3 championships and Daly only getting the 1? Could we see a really good close title fight in the final race, and it being clean and just being a good race overall, and showing those F1 boys how to really do racing?
Joe Dauber, as others have also joined us in chat. Dauber not in the race tonight. They've signed out, citing their own words, not feeling it tonight, skill issue here, and electing to pull themselves. We've seen that before, where drivers are not necessarily confident of their abilities and the weather conditions, the car they're in also factors into that, and they just decide, you know what, it's not worth it. If I go out there and I impact somebody's championship, somebody's race, it's just not worth it. Obviously, we would prefer to live in a reality where Joe Dauber's on the grid tonight, but he's made that decision. We respect that decision. Ash Bibby is asking for us to send help. Well, there's nothing to help you now, mate. You're on the grid and in the race in mixed conditions. Mike Redford's joined us to say, no funny business tonight, going silent because this matters. Redford knows, Ted, he can win this champ from that position he's in now.
Yeah, he sure can. He just needs to keep his head down and keep focused. It's very hard to do when you've got a load of cars around you, but it's something that you have to try and adapt to when you are racing. And I almost forgot There's some mean teammates that we might see from Daly and Conway, which is a bit of a funny one to see. It is, I'd like to say, Star Wars related. If you don't know the Star Wars stuff, as we see here, Daly is, I had the high ground. Obviously not feeling like he will win this race tonight. And Mr. Conway with the, you underestimate my power. So, you know, he means business for tonight's race. So then to having a little bit of fun with the naming tonight, as always. As we see, Neil Pimlott, what are you doing in the pit lane, sir?
Is that on purpose?
I'm not too sure, Jesse. I have not seen any information anywhere.
Thundering down to turn number 1 in the rain here. A known choke spot in all of racing, not just GT racing. Is that a offensive defensive move from Pimlott to start from the back, knowing that there's likely going to be a melee?
Well, you know, if Pimlott has done this on purpose, then it could be a smart move. Obviously, T1 is quite a tight corner, you know, for these cars, especially the front row and the front row of silver. Just what they'll be battling hard just to get in front on the first lap, because this track is very hard to overtake on. But you just have to wait and see if his car moves. He might have just forgot to get in the car, as I know me and Daly have done before. But yeah, it's a very easy thing to do. But here they come around the last corner. We have the spoopy Porsche and Tyler Jason LaValle in his nice Mercedes. As they come up to the line, the flag will drop green and they'll put their foot to the floor.
Green light, give it all you can.
And here we go. Will we stay clean for lap 1? Will we stay clean for the first corner? Let's have a look.
Already
as we see
3 wide.
It sure is in the background. But that was Conway and 2 more cars. I'm not sure who. As Tyler going for the wide line, Porsche going for the inside line. Still 3 wide in the background now, filtering out 2 wide. Everyone's still on the track. 2 wide at the front with the first 2 cars. Daly just sitting there and waiting to see what happens. He's going for a dive. Or a bit of contact between the Mercedes and the Porsche.
Pretty good start there by Tyler Jason LaValle. Raphael Huell now demoted down to P2. Found himself on the wrong side of the racetrack. Jordan Daly trying to find the best way to navigate that particular section of the racetrack. He had to end up pulling out and waiting. That's probably the prudent choice early on in this race. Several other cars are cycling through. That is Tyler Jason LaValle, not in P2. He is representing Canada, and there it is as they cross the timing line. He has gotten the lead off of the first couple of corners. It's Huell and Daly the top 3. Redford has cycled out into P4, well ahead of Snooty McFlude. Harry Conway has not made up any ground. He had a look down into turns 1 and number 2, but he was 3 wide. He was handcuffed and couldn't do anything with it. He has stayed inside the top 5. That's probably the best news that he could have had. Unfortunately, was unable to stay on the back of Daly in that situation. Phil Roberts we saw up into 8th place. Inigo Lopez is now in 3rd place, and Roman Frawler is in a very dangerous position. Kevin Boss, he's down in 14th place, and as it would stand and as they run, he would not win the championship from there.
Yeah, Roman Frawler doesn't seem to have the greatest of starts here, but it's still an hour and 28 minutes to go, as of course is tradition with Night Owl, the final round being 1 hour and 30 minutes. So there's still a very long way to go. There's going to be a lot of opportunities, especially if it stays wet like this. The chance for a spill or a spin is there. But here we see Harry Conway do go up the inside, but he goes a bit deep, and Redford keeps P4 overall, with Harry Conway being shown back towards P5. So you can definitely see Harry Conway is trying to get through Mike Redford quickly to try and attack Daly for that, for that championship winning position.
Yeah, this might be something that Daly wants in this race, to have Conway stuck behind a silver driver. You know, Mike Redford, you know, you see silver drivers, they will move out the way for a pro driver because they don't want to, you know, get slowed down, having to defend from the guy behind. There's no championship points difference between the 2 categories. You know, there's no overall points position to lose. So Redford doesn't have to fight this. He's allowed to stay there. And if he moves up the way to let Conway through, then he's got Madley as well, and then Snooty might come and sneak up past him as well. So, you know, Redford is doing a good thing, but I know Redford from watching him driving against him, and he will not let you get past, even though you are a pro class driver. He'll just hold you off, and he'll like to stay in that 4th place position following Daly. So it's working out for Daly, and obviously Redford's not going to let Conway through. Now Conway's now, you know, got to try and get that Ferrari past this McLaren. It's not going to be easy, as it just looks like the McLaren's a bit more planted compared to the Ferrari right now. But it's early days, you know, like you just said, Kevin. It's still got an hour and 28 minutes left, 26 now. It's a very, very long race in these lovely wet conditions.
Yeah, it might also be Redford's plan to just try and stay in this position, to have that 2 pro car buffer between him and Snooty, to get that P1 position in silver, get the 4 points, and hopefully for him then getting the championship. So I think it's very much in his own advantage to try and keep ahead of Conway, even though Conway is of course fighting for his own championship. This is falling exactly into Redford's plans, but he did go a little bit wide. Conway getting closer every little meter they travel. But yeah, this is at the moment not the opportunity to overtake just yet.
No major calamity there on the opening lap. That is to say, something happened to Roman Frawler, your silver championship leaders. All them fall all the way down to 14th place. They've been able to make up a spot on Seal Mustang. They're in 13th now. And looking up the back of the 333 of Grim Lilith. Something else happened. We saw Neil Pimlon start from the pit lane. They did indeed follow the pack into turn 1, leading me to believe that was likely a designed move to stay out of the turn 1 melee. There was a melee in turn 1. It was 3 wide, many rows deep, but they were all able to sort it out without too big of an issue. Masatoshi Kaneko, on the other hand, got shuffled out. They're back in 17th, and that was the blue E car I've just seen. That has to be... No, that's Vex Moondog, isn't it?
Is that Moondog's too far?
That is Vex Moondog.
You are right,
Vex
sorry.
Moondog slid out there, and unknown if that was contact with another car or what have you, but they have fallen all the way outside the top 10 or thereabouts. They'll go down into what appears to be 18th place, so they're running last on the racetrack right now. Masatoshi Kaneko made up 3 spots in one sector by the looks of it. They were 17th. They're up to 15th again.
Yeah, it's a little bit crazy right now. You know, 5 minutes into the race, it's still got a long way to go, guys.
Guys,
but
I'm gonna ask you both. What do you do if you're Mike Redford here? You're not doing anything. Oh, you're gonna get out of the way that way. It's contact, huge contact. Mike Redford slides off of the exit of turn number 2. Contact with Harry Conway. Conway slides into the infield grass, and that might be all she wrote for this championship early. A textbook contact, and it turned them both in the rain.
And that said, they were both fighting for their own championships.
That's literally what I was saying.
Yep, tremendous amounts of position lost. That would be very tough to try and claw back. I guess they'll both do their utmost, but yeah, this is not great for either of them.
I was just going to say, I was going to ask the both of you, what do you do in this situation? It's dangerous. Redford is holding up essentially a car racing for a different championship. Redford had all of the chips on their side. They had all the cards. They were in no danger from Roman Frawler at that time. Why would you hold up a car that has already showed you that they will dive you into the corner to try and get by you? That's how serious they are. And then that contact happened, and now Snooty McFlude leads. Mike Redford's in second place, and the championship's anybody's guess, Ted.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. The Conway's dropped right down. Redford's now second. I'm pretty sure he can gain it back. I don't think there was much damage in that contact. It's just because it's so wet, you just slide a lot more. Especially, what was that? Was it the second to last corner, was it? Yeah, it was, because Conway was stuck on the inside and he had to wait for everyone to come past before he could even move his car, because he can't go forward. So it's hoping there's not much damage between, you know, the two cars. Redford's rear end got hit. Hopefully the downforce doesn't get affected too much. Obviously Conway's front end on the Ferrari was where the contact happened, so just have to see. I don't think, like I say, I don't think it's going to be much damage. It's more the tap just goes into a slide, and then it's difficult. But you see Conway just wants to get past two silver drivers, and then you see in front the black BMW was Grim Lilith in the 333, and it's just right on the rear end of Fraller. Wants to go for a move. Will he go for the move into this little kink?
He sure will.
Does. Forces the BMW to go wide. Might be a track cut unless they let off and drop some time, but Conway does get in front.
Wow, what a crazy couple of laps this has been. We were just going to talk about how close it was for fourth place, and then it all erupted there. Minnie Simeon asked a question, our community answered, Kevin Boss answered as well. Redford, of course, will not be blue flag. Blue flags only work if you're on a different lap. Doesn't matter what category you're in. If you're fighting for overall position, even though that doesn't pay anything, there's no rules. There's no rules on the RCI rule book that says that you can't do that, only that you take the same care as you would racing somebody of your own class. The question I was going to pose to Boston Edwards was, why would you put yourself in that position? And just as I was going to ask that, contact occurred. A very hungry Harry Conway was trying to make their way through. That contact happened. Conway, by the way, Kevin Boss, still in this race, hasn't given up because, and why would you? You don't know. And there's contact here. The 13 has made contact with Miguel Martins, rocking the WRT livery. Oh, and this has just gone to absolute tatters here in the last couple of laps. Is that all she wrote for the 13? You bet it is. Harry Conway waving the proverbial white flag. That is going to effectively end their championship hunt for a fourth title.
Yeah, Conway, he just got late on the brakes and just slid in, and then I think when he tries to get back going again, he spins it round. Oh, we don't see. I don't think he made contact with anyone else. Doesn't look like any other car was yellow flagged there, but it is very unfortunate. I'm not sure. As we see,
oh, that's Tim Ireland, I believe.
That was Tim Ireland. Tim trying to get out of the way, and Harry's rear end got hit, and then he hit the wall, which very unfortunate. It's just one of those. You want to try and get past the silver class cars, and it's just those little mistakes. You want to try and brake late to get closer, and then stuff like that happens, especially in the wet. It's very unpredictable unless you've driven hours and hours on the same weather conditions on this track, and you know where the car will make mistakes and where you can not make those mistakes, and just see Harry there just going a little bit too hard twice, but it's very unfortunate. So I think that is going to be Harry's race over with. If he goes out the pit lane now, he can still get points. He has to do 80. I think it's 85% of the leader laps, and he still gets points, but it's not going to get him the win. It was seen as Daly is in the lead in the standings by quite a way. What is it? He's got 13 points difference to tie, and then 14 for the win, if you like, if Daly didn't finish at all. But it's very unfortunate, and just how it goes.
Yeah, and this has also gotten all the pressure with it. Oh, that was very close between Tim Ireland and Miguel Martins there. Both RCI staff members getting very close to each other. Usually, I'd say we give each other a little bit of space, but that got very close.
That's broadcast versus stewarding right there is what that is.
Yeah, and I think Miguel wasn't really expecting for Tim to brake where he did, because he seemed, the way he jerked his car, he seemed surprised, or maybe he was a little bit late himself. But yeah, that was very, very close. But yeah, what I wanted to say was that all the pressure is now off of Daly, because he knows with Conway, his direct rival, not driving anymore at this point in time, and also with Dorber not participating anymore, the championship is his if he just finishes the race.
But Kevin, if you are Jordan Daly's crew chief, what are you saying to him in his ear right now? What is your actual message to him?
Just keep driving, or not even talk about Conway, unless he of course notices. But I know that Conway and Daly are probably in a voice call with each other. But yeah, then I'd say just keep driving, keep your head in the game, but don't push, don't go for any mad results, because like we've seen with Conway just now, a mistake is just around the corner, and you don't want to be getting into that position, especially now. If Daly stays out of trouble, he's got it. He doesn't need to push as Miguel Martin tries to go around the outside, but through those corners, it's quite difficult to overtake Tim Ireland here. And it seems like
him
Tim
space there.
He did leave him space, but yeah, I think this battle is going to go right into turn 1 once again.
Ted, you've raced with Jordan Daly on more than a couple of occasions. Would you have said anything at that point about Conway, or are you just, since he's in the zone right now, do you just let him be and let him draw his own conclusions?
I'd leave him to it. Obviously, driving with Daly, we help each other during races when we race together. We both get frustrated, especially when tyres start to drop off, and we start getting a bit more talkative, and we just tell each other just to shut up, get on with it, because as soon as you start talking, you lose concentration. You start making more mistakes. You start ruining the tyres even quicker. You start getting track cuts. So normally what happens, Daly would probably ask a question, or he probably wouldn't even say anything. But if he starts talking, I just say, yeah, he made a mistake. Conway's not in it no more. Just carry on. You can win this on points if you don't mess up. I think he's won anyway. The points towards.
He hasn't won anything yet. He's got an hour and 15 minutes
does.
to not stack this race car. Miguel Martin's off of the racetrack there, trying to make the pass on Tim Ireland, unable to do it there. Continue, Ted.
The next person on points is in 5th in the championship, which is Tyler Jason Cavalli, who is leading with the fastest lap right now, the Swedish fastest lap. So, but Tyler's only got 136 points to Daly's 194. So, unless something really bad happens to Daly, where he doesn't get any points.
You mean the exact thing that happened to Conway?
That is very true, and as we see, Conway has now retired from the race, which is we sort of expected as soon as the leaders went around twice. But yeah, Daly I would just tell Daly just to shush, carry on. You're doing well. Just get those consistent laps. Don't worry about fastest lap. Don't worry about trying to get first place. Just keep the distance between you and Madley. I probably don't even look at the distance. I'll look at the distance for you, and you just keep driving your line. As just looking at the lap times, he is slower than 2 guys in front, and Madley is only 0.2 a lap faster. Was last lap than Daly. Snooty McFluid is only a 10th behind, and then Phil Roberts is just on his fastest. With a 50.777, as we see Moondog come in to the pit lane, just because the pit window is open. Would you two like to know what the requirements are for this race?
Hold on, we have to do the
tell
thing.
me.
Kevin, we have to do the thing. But Ted, what are the requirements this week?
Where would we find those?
Well, I know that one before, Kevin.
I had to add something.
Professional broadcasters, by the way, do go on.
The requirements are 2 mandatory pit stops within the 1 hour pit window, which is just open. 15 minutes in, it opens, and 15 minutes to go of the race, it closes. You have to do 1 litre of fuel on both stops, and it is a fixed refueling time of 25 seconds. So 1 litre of fuel will be 25 seconds. Full fuel of 120 litres or whatever the car can take is 25 seconds. So if you think of it this way, this gives drivers different strategies they can use with, like you see, we already have one driver coming in with Moondog, and it looks like they only did, was it 1 minute 0.7, so that's only, I think that was only the 25 second pit, with just the 1 litre. Drivers can, on the second one, take tyres if they like. It's only a 5 seconds extra, which would be 30 seconds. So, they could try and take tyres if the tyres don't feel too great. They can extend it towards 20 minutes left of the race, change onto new tyres and get they'll be on low fuel. They can probably try and take the fastest lap away from the 35. But we've seen it before, Jesse, when I've done the 2 pit stops in a race, and the drivers have taken tyres towards the end.
Yeah, and I think you will do that, Ted. I don't think anybody is going to look at that 5 seconds and think it's too big of a detriment. It's an hour and a half race or thereabouts. So in that time, you would typically take tires anyway. And I know a lot of people would probably say, well, it's in the wet, they're grooved tires. Do they really wear that bad? The answer is yeah, they fall off quite a bit. And especially with even 17 cars that we have going around the racetrack, they will start to wear. And even just the benefit of getting tires that are not overheated on the car to run for 20 minutes or so, that's a huge benefit. I don't think anybody's going to overlook that. There may be a couple of people, if you're in a close battle, you get a little cheeky and you try to outsmart and outwit somebody. I think on the majority, nobody here is really going to want to risk it for the biscuit here today. They're probably going to take those tires at some point. I would argue probably closer to the second stop, but if you're wheeling and dealing with a guy like what we're seeing right here, Sahil Mustak and Neil Pimlott going at it, you might take your tires right now to try and get a early leg up on them. But one way or another, I'm pretty confident in that. So Conway has joined us in the chat, confirming that according to their mathematics, nobody can win the championship. And I have been doing the maths, as you might expect, based on Conway's assumption. And yeah, he's right. Because of the drop round, it is physically impossible for anybody but Harry Conway to have beaten him in this championship. That means Jordan Daly, by default now, should go on to win this championship. Even if they don't score points, it shouldn't matter because Joe Dauber isn't here, right? Timothy Flanger, their lowest round is a sign-out. And, yeah, even if Daly went on to get no points here today as Miguel Martin's continuing their fight with Tim Ireland. They've been quite nice to each other thus far. They've been racing each other. They've been racing each other hard, haven't they, Kevin? But they've been doing it fairly, I would say.
Yeah, like we saw before, they're giving each other room. It did seem like Miguel Martins had the pace on Tim Ireland. But yeah, they kept it clean, they kept it fair. Always giving each other just enough room. But I will say, you're saying if Jordan Daly doesn't score any points, he's won it. But I just had a look at the standings, and if Jordan Daly doesn't score any points, my calculations will probably have Harry Conway winning. Because of the drop round, Jordan Daly's is currently on a 26-point race, and Harry Conway's is on a 53-point race. So if they both score 0, Daly will get 26 points extra, Conway will get 53, and that would leapfrog Conway over Daly. So it's definitely a must correct for Daly to finish this race.
Neil Pimlott looking down to the inside of Sahil Mustak. This pass has been several laps in the making as they are going to drag race down the pit straight here at a very wet Hungaroring. Kevin Boss is absolutely on the money, and before we got invested in more Stewart on broadcaster racing, that was going to be my point. The only one that could beat him, as I said, is Harry Conway, and you're very astute, Kevin. If Daly DNFs as well, it does tip back to Conway because of the way the drop round works. Harry's drop round is worth more points currently. If neither score points today, their drop round is more valuable. That will no longer be his drop round, the 53-point third place round. That will end up being a round that counts versus Daly's 26. So Daly has to finish the race. Oh, and it's come to contact. It's broadcaster on Stewart violence, and this is the Civil War RCI cannot afford.
It seems like, Tim is just missing his braking point right into the back of Miguel Martins.
Is that what happened?
It seems like Miguel might have stopped a bit early, but I think Tim just carried a bit too much speed, maybe missed his brake marker a little bit. From the one angle we saw just now, I think that's what happened. But, maybe we could get an on-board from Miguel. Seems to be stopping at the normal time. Yeah, it does look like Tim Ireland had a bit too much speed going through that corner, and that's what caused the collision.
I think Tim was doing a reenactment of the medieval times with a battering ram, and I don't think this is the time when you're in the final of a 9-hour race. But he did wait, so got to give respect to that. He knew he did wrong, so he just waited at the side of the track and waited for Miguel to spin the Audi around, and they got back fighting again. Well, 2.7 seconds difference now, probably giving him a little bit of a berth at the minute, just because of the contact. Someone's not going to be very happy once they've been hit. I've had that many times before, but yeah, it's very unfortunate as we see Indigo Lopez coming in for their pit stop, the second car to do so. I believe they are teammates with Vex Moondog, so both teammates deciding that okay, it's time to come in. Maybe they were in a little bit of traffic as Daly taking the chicane there. It looks like quite nicely. It's very difficult to get that chicane perfect, but he looks like he's doing a good job there. It's Newton Flu's just done his fastest lap of a 150.735 in the silver class, as they are sitting in 5th place overall and first in silver, but they're not really in the championship fight as they joined this round. The fight in silver between Roman Fowler, Indigo Lopez and Mike Redford in that order, first, second, third, but Redford's in first at the moment. I think Indigo was in second, and then Fowler is there in third, but it was fourth, sorry. So they are still fighting. They are very close in points, so any one of them can win it tonight. Unlike obviously pro category, which is now whittled down to really only Daly, the one that is doing well. Like Boss did say earlier, though, if Daly does have some issue and cannot score points, Conway does take it. But it's very interesting to see, you know, Conway having issues. Obviously had a few contacts, and that's why he's not in the race. Dolber was in the practice server, and I think maybe qualifying, but they dipped out. They say they weren't feeling it tonight, and Flamger did sign out already. So it's very interesting from the front runners not being able to really do tonight's race.
I will
Big
say,
shout out. Oh,
sorry,
one second,
I
Mr.
think
Boss.
we're about to say the same thing.
Are we seriously?
Yes, are you looking at chat?
I absolutely am. Big shout out to Allison Bibby for becoming a supporter of RCI TV. Welcome to the club. And well, your boyfriend is not horizontal tonight. He is very much doing bits. He's in 15th place. He is still got 2 pit stops left to give, but more importantly than all of that, regardless of what happens from here on out, not last tonight. I know the Autobotic Transmission 69 car, nice, was he wasn't feeling too, I would say, comfortable in his car in the wet weather here, but he's certainly done a decent enough job around the track tonight. No issues thus far as the 69, nice, continues around. But welcome Allison Bibby to the club. Kevin, do your bit. Do your bit. You stream over at Crash Neck on Twitch. Do your bit. What do you normally say?
Well, I think I'll do it a bit different here than what I do on stream. On stream, it's always it would be streaming. I'll say, I see now Allison Bibby has become an RCI TV supporter. Thank you very much. It is, of course, not a prerequisite for watching us here on RCI TV, but it does help us out a lot with all the server costs and everything like that. So once again, thank you very, very much, Allison Bibby, for joining us here as a channel member. Something along those lines.
We see the fight going on here between the 2 BMWs. 333 Green Lilith and the number 6 of Roman Fowler. Fowler gets passed after turn 1. Silver on pro fight here. We've seen this before. It feels like a bit of deja vu with the 2 classes going against each other, but looks like Fowler is getting away from Lilith here. I know Lilith was saying that they didn't feel very strong in the BMW today, but they are still putting up a good fight, seen in 6th in the pro category and 9th overall. So still doing a good job from Lilith there.
Oh, you see now here from the backside of Roman Fowler, it's got Grim Lilith right behind him in that 333 BMW, so it's some BMW on BMW action. Silver against Pro. Grim didn't have the best of qualifying, and we sort of got a message that he was thinking of maybe starting from the back, but he chose not to do so, maybe seeing Neil Pinlot start there already. But yeah, now he's all the way up to 9th overall, and that is, I think, 6th in class. He'll want to get past Roman Fowler in order to get maybe up to Phil Roberts, get a few more points. Would be Stewart on Stewart action there. But he's still got some work ahead of him if he wants to catch up to Phil Roberts, and of course he doesn't want to replicate the actions we've seen previously.
Certainly doesn't. 1 hour and 1 minute left in the race. Mike Redford brings the 95, the pole-sitting car, down pit lane. They had early contact with Harry Conway, I do believe it was, and now they will do their first pit stop of the 2 required for the evening. And unfortunately for Redford, they were not gaining on Snooty McFlude. Ted, you brought up that McFlude was the quickest car in the silver class on the racetrack. It's been clear to see that on the track as they've been gapping everybody else behind them, including Mike Redford. So after the contact, not looking good for Mike to get back into that position. And without winning this race and potentially having the quickest lap for Redford, I don't think it's going to be enough to win the silver champ.
Yeah, it's a shame, and that's one thing you don't expect another driver to do a mid-season sign-up for the last round and be placed into the silver category with from the pre-qualifying results. And I did look back on Snooty's races in the past, and they have been silver, so it's sort of a suitable category to put them in. But it just looks like the Porsche is doing good in the wet competitive cars, as we see. Ralph Huell is doing well in the Pro class in the Porsche, and Phil Roberts in the McLaren's not that far high up. Same with Pimlott in the McLaren, so they're not doing too great. As Redford's in the McLaren in the silver class. See Dick Jordan Daly coming in for their first pit stop with 1 hour and 20 seconds left to go. But it just looks like the Porsche is one of those cars that's doing better at the moment compared to the cars around them, and the McLaren's not so great. BMW is struggling a little bit. So it's very difficult, and I know I'm going to get a little bit of flack later on, due to the silver points, but it's just one of those things that happens in racing sometimes.
What are you getting flack for with putting Snooty McFlude now in silver?
Yes.
I mean, for me personally with Snooty, it's I think he's got the pace for pro, but then especially as he joins like the last race, you might think like, okay, if in pre-qualifying his time was a silver time, then yeah, you might as well put him there. I know when I've been fighting for silver honors where suddenly faster drivers come in because they put in a silver time, it's not the most fun for you personally, as we now see Tim Ireland and Ash Bibby going into the pits for one of their 2 pit stops. But yeah, it happens. It could happen in real life, where all of a sudden, like, there might be a driver change, a faster driver comes in, puts the championship on its head. But that is just the way things go. Or do you think differently, Jesse?
Well, keep in mind, Snooty didn't qualify on pole. He was beaten by Mike Redford, so you could say what you will about the pace in the race, but he was beaten in qualifying by a faster Mike Redford, and had Redford been out front, we'd have been looking at a completely different scenario. We got a couple of the pro cars that are sort of behind the 8 ball. We're riding on board one, the front splitter of Masatoshi Kaniko's Porsche, that 740, looking at Sale Mustak in front. Talk about cars that are slightly out of position. Masatoshi's one of those. They're a pro car, they're in pro of their own volition, and they're out of place. So you can say what you will about the silver cars being where they are. They have just as much right to any part of the racetrack as anyone else. And on top of that, nothing says a silver driver can't be quicker. A lot of times the difference between a pro and a silver, Ted, is your consistency more than your outright hot lap pace.
Yeah, that is true, and like you say, Snooty didn't start on the pole. Grim Lilith is in the pit lane, and it is Ash Vivi, so a few more drivers coming in. But yeah, it's just one of those. Obviously, Redford got hit by Conway, so it's one of them. It's difficult, but yeah, it is what happened.
Well, we now see Grim Lilith also doing one of his 2 stops in pit lane as we're looking from the back of Sehel Mustak, and we just switched to Grim Lilith. And Roman Frawler, the number 6 BMW, has spun it. We'll look at a race replay here, see what happened. Oh, we don't You think that was the curb?
Yeah, in the rain, absolutely.
Yeah, so yeah, that's just spun him out. Let's see, that's put him currently down on my tool. He still says 5th, and yeah, it still shows him as 5th, but he still needs to do his pit stop, and that damage will not help either with getting some good lap times, or if he wants to repair it, it'll leave him longer in the pit lane. So yeah, that's not what he wanted if he wanted to fight for a silver honors.
LaValle into the pit lane, Raphael Huell into the pit lane, so is Snooty McFlude leading the silver class, and this will, well, it doesn't complete the cycle of the first pit stop. Of course, you can take them back to back if you really wanted to. Miguel Martin's down to the pit lane, and they will not be coming to the attention of their team, or maybe they are. They're going to pit this car. No, they're not. They swooped in and swooped out. Swiggity swooty, unsure exactly what's going on there, but they do have a drive-through, and without live stewarding here tonight, Ted, that can only be track limits.
Yeah, it sure is, and it's very unfortunate just to get a drive-through, seeing as they've done one pit stop, so it could be minor speed in the pit lane. I didn't quite see, unfortunately. I saw the drive-through pop up, but it's just one of those, you know, especially when you got a 2 pit stop race. Even a 1 pit stop race would hurt you the same amount, but going into the pit stop for an extra time, you know, it's not as long as the drivers have to do with 25 seconds, but it still just puts you out of sync. And as you see, down in 16th place, 11 seconds off of Moondog, still yet to do another pit stop. I would say they would take tyres for the last one, just so they can have a bit more pace for the final leg of the race.
Once again, we're looking from the back of Sahil Mustak. He's now got Masatoshi Kaneko for company, the pro driver. Both of them still need to pit, but you've got Tyler Jason LaValle just behind the one who took the lead very early on. It's just 9/10 from the last sector split behind these two ahead. He'll most likely be hoping that they head into the pit lane rather sooner than later, because you don't really want to be finding past them if you've been comfortably leading for that long already. But yeah, as you can see by the yellow 1s or 2s you see on the board there, means how many more pit stops these drivers have to do. So you can see for Mackley, Mustak and Kaneko, they still need to do 2, as the 2 in front of Tyler Jason LaValle go into pit lane for one of their 2 pit stops. And once someone has done all their required pit stops, you'll see a nice green little block next to the name to see whether they've done everything they need.
Certainly is. Madley still out there with 2 stops left to give. Sahil Mustak now into the lane. Masatoshi Kaneko into the lane as well. And with the exception of Madley out in front, that completes everybody's first stop. And now the question will become, when do you come in to serve that second one, as Vex Moondog trying to recover from the early incident, going to get by Tim Ireland here for 14th place. And that is not only a pass on the racetrack, of course, it's a pass for position in class. Roman Frawler, who has also completed their first stop, down in 13th. Now everything's all mixed up right now, boss.
Yeah, definitely. And now that all the pit stops or the first round of pit stops have come through, except for Madley, we start to get a better picture of what this is going to look like. And I think the cars that stopped around the hour mark will just go another half hour pits there and just split the race in 3. But we also had the guys who already went into the pits after 15 minutes. So it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to plan. Like, are they now going to run until the end of the pit window? Are they going to pit half an hour before the end? Maybe get some fresh tyres and be fast at the end. But yeah, this does have a lot of strategy to it.
A lot of strategy involved, and some of that's personal preference too, of when you come into the pit lane and whenever you want to serve that. Of course, Madley now has realized they're the only one out there that hasn't done their first stop. Like I said earlier, you can double stack. We've seen that before on certain racetracks. It doesn't matter. You do one stop and you come in and do another stop, and there's certain instances where that might be advantageous. This isn't one of them, in my opinion. Madley, the will come out, looked clean to me, and didn't look like they sat there for any longer than they had to. So Ted brought up earlier the question of tires and would you take them? I argued almost everybody would take tires, if nothing more than a defensive mechanism, knowing that they have fresh, not overheated tires. Kevin, what are your thoughts?
I think it depends. I'll do it at least once with the pit requirements that we have today, at least once. But I'd also be looking at, or at least try to remember what lap times haven't been doing at the start. What am I doing now? How heavily are these tires dropping off? Is it worth the extra 5 seconds? Some would argue just do it anyway, because it's only 5 seconds, you can catch up. But I think it would be rather prudent to look and try and remember, see how much your lap times are falling away each lap, and see if it's worth for you. But yeah, I'd definitely do it. I think like half an hour before the end is when I'd take the new tires, or maybe cut the race in half and do 45-45 to have even tires all across the race.
Yeah, that's kind of what I would expect to see out of most of the drivers. The question will become how many will actually do that in this race. Justin Madley for the Steady Start Racing team up into third place, just in front of Jordan Daly. Daly looks to have just a little bit more pace here. Must have been a little bit slower on the stop for Daly. And they're down to fourth place, trying to get by Madley. Madley has made it very obvious for the last couple of turns. They're not going to make it easy on the champion-elect driver here.
No, and for Daly as well, he's got Snooty McFlude right behind him, who might think, it's only my one race, I'm going to try and finish as high as I can. So he's got that to contend with as well. So for Jordan Daly, this is not an easy position. Like, are you really going to push to get to P3? Are you maybe going to let Snooty through? Or do you think, with the pace I have, I can do this easily and then just continue to push on? But yeah, it's all to Jordan now.
That's a good point. If you're Jordan Daly, you're in a rock and a hard place, or you're the hot dog in the bun. If you don't push forward, you're going to get shuffled back. You don't have a choice here. It doesn't matter what class that car is behind you. You want to finish as high up as you can. It would be an extra, like, cherry on top for Daly if he could podium the final race, the race that netted him his second Night Owl championship. By the way, in case you're wondering at home, only 3 drivers have ever won multiple Night Owl championships. Jordan Daly trying to add another one on his belt. He's the reigning champion, and only one time in the history of RCI has a driver defended their championship title that I'm aware of. Actually, no, that might be wrong. That might be twice a driver has defended their title. Jordan Daly trying to become the next one in that list as well, of a defending champion winning the championship again.
I did just see, as you can see on your screen, the red DT box next to Phil Roberts. He got that for track limits. So we do see all across the field, if you go that a little bit wide, just that little bit too often, you will get that DT, from the drive-through from the game, which means within 3 laps you'll have to enter the pits, drive through, and take your penalty. Though I'm not too familiar with that deep of the Night Owl law, Jesse. Could you educate me?
You can do a little bit better than that. I'll answer your question if you give me a better Night Owl.
Night Owl.
That's what I'm talking about. Ted, Night Owl? Night Owl from you?
Night Owl.
All right, Kevin, what was your question?
So, as we see Madley just getting a little bit slippery on the exit of turn 1. Jordan Daly going up the inside. He's now got the inside line for turn 2, and that is P3 for Jordan Daly. He'll probably be fighting this position for a long time, but I think we've had our previous question answered, like what will Daly do? Well, he saw a slip. He saw the slip from Madley, and he went for it, and he's got that podium. But what I wanted to know, who were the other I have to say properly, Night champions?
I think Jonas Savalainen defended one of his titles. I don't think they were 3 consecutive. I think he won 2 in a row at some point, and I think Conway went back-to-back at one point as well. I think those are the other two. That's good company. Both those drivers, by the way, that I just mentioned, they've got 3 Night Owl championships apiece. Daly's trying to win his second. He'll be the only driver who's won 2, who's gone back to back.
And just you said Daly would then be the 4th multi-Night Owl champion.
I think he'll be the 4th multi-Night Owl champion, yeah.
So we got
by the way, Conway's confirming he did not repeat as a champion as Snooty McFluge lost it. A huge moment in this race as the leader in the silver class, racing for Herbert Motorsports, has slipped off the curb, and that's exactly what it is. It's a certified Porsche moment, and that's the leader in that class, folks. And irregardless if he hangs on to the lead, that is going to be massive damage, Ted.
Yeah, sure is. Frontal impact like that, especially in the middle, is going to affect both sides of the car, and that can mess with your tire pressures. That obviously will mess with your downforce on the front end of the car. So turning could be very different indeed, and you can experience the front tires going under pressure throughout the race until you fix it and until you get new pressure. So it's a very hard one to drive, but it's very unfortunate that they slipped out there and hit the wall. But I'm sure it's happened to Kevin, and it's definitely happened to me, and it's just one of those ones when it's in the wet, you just can't stop the car.
Well, I've had it happen to me earlier today. I did some races at Silverstone in the Porsche, and once those tires are saying, yeah, we've been holding on, but no longer, they just go. So it might have been that Snooty's been punishing those tires a little bit too much, then a little bit too much throttle on the curb, and goodbye, Mr. Snooty. So yeah, it could just be a Porsche thing. Also, just scrubbing the tires a bit too much in the wet. But yeah, it does happen to other people. Yeah.
So Harry Conway confirming that all of his 3 Night Owl championships were non-consecutive. He never signed up to defend a championship. He would win a championship, take a season or so off, and come back. So that's what I was saying earlier. I know Juna defended his title, the Summer of Savalainen, as I referred to it. And he did. So that means there will only be 2 drivers who have ever defended a championship in this series. It actually makes Conway's more impressive. Can you imagine how long that took him to win 3 championships? When he would win a championship, and then he would take a vacation and then come back and win another one. How frustrating must that be as a Night Owl competitor to see Conway in the field during that time period?
Yeah, that's your win gone there. So, he's come to win another. But we do have a little request from the chat here. Pure of Pies asked, or tells us actually, show me Bibby, he sounds good. All as Vex Moondog and Tim Ireland go side by side through the chicane. That was very close indeed, and Moondog takes the position away from Tim Ireland with 2 other very close behind. That's Miguel Martins there as well, and I think that is the Mercedes of Tyler Jason LaValle in this melee as well.
Post racing going on the racetrack, even at the halfway point of the race. Feels like we've seen an entire F1 season worth of action. We probably have, to be honest, but we're only halfway into this race. Tim Ireland still trying to make up and work on positions. Tim Ireland has eventually won that fight. It come to blows between them and Miguel Martins, but Vex Moondog is the next car they have eyes set on. Snooty McFluge lost a ton of time, but not nearly enough time to lose the lead in the silver class. The point will remain. Does the 48 Porsche come down to fix that damage at any point? They'll have to come down regardless, but will they fix the damage at all? 5 seconds to gap. Mike Redford now closing in, clearly showing something amiss on that car. Ash Bibby being overtaken by his mate on this occasion. Or was that Grim? I couldn't tell. That is not Grim. That was Grim. It was indeed Grim overtaking him there. Sorry, the car is very similar for the 197 and the 333. Tyler Jason LaValle has pitted the 35 out of the lead of this race. What do you think about that, Ted?
Yeah, it's 42 minutes left of the race. He's still got a 27-minute pit window. Yeah, it's I'm not too sure. That is that his first pit or is that his last pit?
It's his last.
It's his last pit. Yeah, that's very. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Very weird. There you go. It's in now a green bar saying that he has completed both of the pit stops. It's very weird to see. He just come out of the pit lane now? 1 minute 11.8. So that could be a perfect pit stop with tyres taken. The perfect pit stop being there's a red box when you come into the pit lane. You'll see the red box where you should park, and if you park in that box perfectly, it will just lift you straight up on the jacks rather than moving you into the box perfectly and then lifting you up. So if you got a perfect pit and taking tyres, then that pit stop does make sense. But it's it's a little bit weird to see the pit stop being completed this
was that
early
early,
on.
do you think? Yeah, I was going to ask you, Ted,
Yeah,
is
I
that
think
early
it's-
for your taste? Would you have not done that?
Because you've got a 90-minute race. If you've got an hour-long pit window, well, that's 50 minutes in. It opens. 50 minutes it closes. So you got an hour. You got an hour and a half. You want to split that as evenly as you can into threes. Normally it would be 30 minutes in and then 30 minutes to go. So that would fit in with the pit window. If I am right in saying I am. So it's a little bit weird, but I would have thought people, if they've seen the pit window, they would have gone, okay, pit roughly 20 minutes in, because they're 5 minutes into the pit window, and then 20 minutes before the end, 5 minutes before it closes, because then you get that middle stint where you can just chill out. You're not going to have anyone around you. You're going to have clean air, and you can just try and drive your own lines. As you see, Miguel Mines, a second behind, Tim Island just sort of chilling out. Obviously, Justin Madley here is following Jordan Daly, who's now in second place after Lavalley has done his pit stop. So some cars are separated, as you can see on the left-hand side on the timing screen. You see the gaps that's between each car, not from the leader. That's between each car. So there's only 2 or 3 drivers that are close to other people. Tyler Jason Valley close to Phil just because of the pit stop. So this middle sector, I wouldn't have pitted. With the kit going out, you can pick between the 30 and the 30 minutes left and 20 minutes left would make more sense, and maybe take tyres if they're not feeling too great. But very weird one indeed.
Oh, that's a nice overtake. It looks like from Miguel Martins going up the inside of Tim Island there in the third to last corner in sector 3. Does seem like he's able to hold on. Did get a bit squirrely there going through the second to last corner, but this looks like Miguel Martins has finally once again gone past Tim Island, and I'm thinking he's just going to be hoping that what happened before is not going to repeat itself.
What an interesting race it's been thus far. We're just over halfway through with it. Only 2 cars have completed their required stops. Masatoshi Kaneko has done 2 quick ones in succession. Tyler Jason Lavalley, a little bit of rhyme and reason to the leader's stops, but not exactly what Ted or any of us up in the booth, quite frankly, were expecting out of the pit window. But maybe that's what Lavalley wanted to think outside the box just a little bit. Do you know, in a race like today, in weather like it is, it would pay off, wouldn't it, Ted, to have some fantastic sim racing equipment?
It sure would, and yeah, you can go to Fanatec.com. Fanatec is a global leader in high-end sim racing hardware, from low-tail pedals to direct drive base. Fanatec strives for quality in every piece of hardware they design. You can help RCI by using the affiliate link when making purchases from their website. And if you do so, then thank you very much. And yeah, I've got Fanatec pedals, and they are comfy and they work amazingly. And do you have any Fanatec stuff, Kevin?
I do. I have the whole shebang. It's been working pretty well for me. Has it made me a better driver? Probably, because I feel everything a bit more. As what's happening here, this is Miguel Martins going up against Vex and Moondog. So, I think there might have been a little bit of contact right there at the back. But, yeah, it's definitely made me feel a lot more like when you lose control a bit, I can definitely feel it in both the pedals and in the steering wheel a lot better than I could with my previous gear. So, for me, Fanatec has definitely helped.
Well, you saying you lose control a bit, and I think what might help you out is Go Setups. They provide expertly made ACC setups for all kind of skill levels, built by some of the fastest professional esports drivers and sim engineers. Go Setups provide both fully tailored esports setups as well as a safer alternative, and wet setups, which I think some of these drivers would need tonight. You can visit their link in the description below, and you can browse their premium setup shop today.
I don't think anyone noticed, did they, Lance? I think that was as perfect as it possibly could have gone. Racing still going on in the pack. Miguel Martins has won the fight for the moment over Vex Moondog, the WRT liveried Audi, continuing up the field in the silver class. Dispatched Tim Ireland earlier on, quite literally dispatched him, or maybe it was the other way around. Either way, Miguel Martins making some moves here, some moves being made at the top. We mentioned LaValle, the first of the top runners to complete their mandatory multiple pit stops. The Nightmare Backmarker Racing number 18 Mercedes, driven by Sail Mustak, will come to the attention of the team. They pit out of 4th place in class, maybe looking to jump those in front of them ever so slightly. Suni McFlude has had a huge incident earlier on, about 10 or so minutes ago in the 48 Porsche, but they have held onto the lead. That's how big their lead was at the time. Mike Redford was closing in. It was slightly under 5 seconds. Now it's ballooned back up to 5.5 seconds back to Mike Redford, who qualified on pole. Indigo Lopez is running 3rd in that category. Sail Mustak, of course, into the pit lane. Roman Frawler's into the pit lane. It's feeding time now as Vex Moondog brings their Bull Shark e-racing car into the lane as well. Kevin, it's close with Roman Frawler and Mr. Redford right now. It's too close to call for me, in fact.
Yeah, because you do see Redford there being up into P5, currently P2 in class, Frawler being in P5. So that's going to be very close in the standings. And if it stays like this, it's going to be very interesting to see how it pans out, because I'd have to double check who has the fastest lap in silver right now. We know that Tyler Jason LaValle has it overall and for the pro class, as he just goes past Phil Roberts, who is just entering the pits. Though we did see in the chat that Mr. Bannerstone has said that he was using Go Setups, but it didn't help him today. But Ted, do you know where he can improve?
Are you kidding me?
I'm gonna try and where he can
Are we
improve.
doing this?
We're doing this.
Well, I don't know where we're going with this one. This one's throwing me off.
Well,
Kevin.
if you want to improve your racing, your racecraft, where would you go?
Driver 61 is helping sim racers fulfill their potential on the track. From one-on-one driver coaching to full-on driver courses, the folks over at Driver 61 have helped thousands of racers refine their craft and unlock their untapped potential. And you can visit their link in the description below. Yeah, I think Jesse's used them before. I think other members of our staff have used driver coaching. I think you can just book, you can have a driver coaching session, or you can book a few, and they've helped people out with their driver racecraft, and it's they do help. It's weird. You think, oh, you just jump in a car and you just find out the lines and you can just race other people, but it's hard when you're following someone to know when to brake, and you should brake earlier than the car in front, and different conditions mean you got to have a different driving style when you following someone. But it's yeah, they do help out, and they do help people with their racecraft. And I know some people that we've had on our championships that have used them and have improved. Caught me off guard, Kevin. That is not allowed.
I thought you would pick up where I was going to go.
I can say, I think Harry Conway was trying to set us up for that partner read that whole time. Boss saw it first, and I'm sitting here flabbergasted. Everybody in chat, everybody on this broadcast team, conspiring to give love to the partners. Real talk, everybody. We see it when you click the links and whenever you use their services, whether it's a Go Setup or you visit digitalmotorsport.com or you visit Driver 61, all these things. We see the analytics, Fanatec as well. We see this. We appreciate you doing that. Help brands that help or support brands that support RCI. That's what we've always said. We see you continuously doing this. We're super humbled that you would do that for us by clicking our links. We do appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Well,
we see Raphael, I'm very sorry, it said going through the final corner onto another lap. We got 31 minutes and 50 seconds to go in this race. We still have quite a couple of drivers who want or who need to do their final pit stop. Raphael, you'll being one of them. Tim Ireland just about to come in to finish his final pit stop there. Looking as well, Daly right behind as well. I was about to talk about him because he was able to get away from Matley just that little bit, but now we'll have to wait to see what his pit stop is like. Will he take tires? Will he try and get a bit further away from Matley to really cement his podium position and his win in the championship?
Yeah, it's Daly's coming at a time I would presume is reasonable. 30 minutes left of the race. See Grimlith is in as well. Oh, the BMW's in the pit lane. It is. Apart from one, Ash Bibby is still going around. Ash, you need to come into the pit lane. Yeah, look, he heard me. Oh, the Beam is in the pit lane. But yeah, it's about the right time to maybe take tyres, or if you're feeling good enough on those ones you started on the race with, just take the fuel and off you go. But yeah, 30 minutes to 20 minutes left of the race is what I would expect.
So you think most of these drivers will just split the race in three and call it a day there, and not try and maybe min-max, like we saw Inigo Lopez go in very early with the pits window barely being opened, and his second pit stop was on lap 28, so that's just 3 laps ago. That's, yeah, it would have been around 35, 36 minutes. Is that more what you expected, or are you more surprised by that one?
I was just surprised by the early pit. Sorry, I just noticed Vex Moondog's in the pit again. Not sure why. They have completed the pit stops. Not sure if they're trying to go for fastest lap in silver, but yeah, yeah, I would split it sort of evenly. But yeah, for early, like Tyler Jason Valleycat I think came in early as well, if I remember rightly. But yeah, coming in either late on the first one or really early is weird. It just depends on how the car feels. I think it depends how much fuel you've taken. It's a very weird one because I've never done it that way. Unless you're in the lead, is a bit different. Obviously, Ralph Yule got Justin Madley, you got Mike Reffers still out there. Neil Pimlott's in the pit lane now, and you want to try and keep the lead or like an advantage. Let everyone else pit first, because if you pit before everyone else, you're going to end up in their fights, and you know that's not what you want. You don't want to get held up by people. You could lose time to the cars behind. So the drivers in the front are doing what I would expect them to do, but yeah, pitting early in some places and potentially coming out in traffic is not one I would have expected.
Well, only time will tell if the off-brand strategies or what Ted wouldn't do will pay off, as we now see a fight between Vex Moondog and Ash Bibby. Moondog sends it put up the inside of our fan favorite Mr. Bibby, and he does make that position. So I think I speak for everyone in here. Come on, Ash, fight back, though he does seem a little bit like a losing battle as he lets another driver through there as well. Probably lack traffic, but yeah, it's always nice to see an RCI that doesn't really matter when. Oh, that was deep from Ash. God, it was lucky he didn't hit I think it was a Ferrari right there. Let's look at the race replay right here. Looking at Ash Bibby, braking a bit late and has to shoot up the inside of Ferrari, just darting to the left to avoid the charging Ash Bibby. But yeah, luckily no contact there. But yeah, I was about to say, it is nice to see. It doesn't matter where you are in the pack in RCI, usually there's a fight for you.
Sure is. And just seeing the chat, Tom Bryant saying about to Harry Conway about there might be somewhere where you can get new equipment. Heard there's a UK company. Do you know anything about that, Kevin?
Oh, there is Digital Motorsports. They have a website full of everything you need sim racing, lots of different brands, and they even have their own sim rig builder. So you can figure out what works for you. Different parts, different brands, all whack it together. I know, Ted, you've said before you've played around with it quite a bit in order to figure out what works for you, or just for fun. So yeah, if you're interested in buying some sim gear from whatever brand you want, go to digitalmotorsport.com and have a look there.
Yeah, sure thing. So yeah, it's weird having the chat set us up for the partners tonight, even though we are having, we are 3 wide in the box. It's
Needless to say, they know who they are.
it shows that we're doing our job right by shouting them out every single cast we do. And we've still got 26 minutes of this race left, 11 minutes on the pit window to go. Ralph Huell, who's in first place, is in the pit lane. Justin Madley is still going around, and Sahel Mustak is still going in the silver class as well. Just looking across at the last pit stops, and they're all a bit all over the place. Looking at Tyler, Jason Lavalle's and Jordan Daly's, both 1 minute 11s. 1 minute 11.8, very close between them two. Tyler came on lap 24, Daly came on lap 30. And I don't think they've taken tyres. Snoody was a 1 minute 19, I think they fixed their damage. Redford did a 1 minute 11.8 as well. So
I'm not laughing at you, Ted. Keep going.
So okay. So
I'm laughing at Tom.
I don't know if anyone's actually taking tyres, because it could be that people are getting in the box wrong, like I said before, not getting in it properly, so it's not a perfect stop. They get moved around in the box before they get lifted and the fuel gets put in. So it's a very confusing one tonight, but we just have to see about the pace. And Phil Roberts going sideways. A nice drift there.
Drifter.
There you go. That was I wonder how this happened. Maybe just it caught the curb.
5,000 points for Phil Roberts.
He lived on the clipping point. He was painting the outside edge. Good angle. I'm going to say, as much as he's going to be frustrated at himself for sighting the car like that, probably muttering to himself a bit as well, that was a very textbook drift. Held the line.
Yeah. I just want to come back to the point I made before. So, as you can see now, Neil Pimlott has gone very close to the back of Grim Lilith. So, once again, it doesn't matter where you are on the grid, in which class you are, there is a place for you. So if you go to racerci.com, you can find all the championships we got going at the moment. And right now, we're going very big on iRacing with the Charlotte 150 signups open, iRacing Road Season 2, and the MX-5s at Daytona, all open for anyone who wants to come in. And if you're thinking, but Kevin, I don't have iRacing, we are there for you. If you sign up for the championships and you get the correct role in the Discord, there are either 3-month free codes available or a discounted 1-year deal. Keep in mind that's only for new accounts. So racerci.com if you want to race with us.
Yeah. It's quite interesting, that whole iRacing thing, because confirming the Charlotte 150, which is taking place next weekend, next Saturday afternoon or evening if you're in Europe. We're broadcasting that live here on RCI TV, the Charlotte 150 Pro Stock race cars around the famous Charlotte 1.5 mile oval racetrack. It's a super speedway to those cars. Should be a lot of fun. There's still time for you to get a code, get on there, get some practice, and get in the race for next Saturday. I have fully prepared myself for my voice to just disappear. My racetrack, my kind of racing. Can't wait to.
iRacing. There we go. I did it. It's on a Saturday, so why not? Yeah, we got we have some more coming up as well. Obviously, we got a Thursday championship going on in the Legends Cup. We've done round 1. We've got 2 more rounds. We've got a road race and then an oval again. So that was pretty fun. I enjoyed that. it was a difficult race, but it is still a bit of a laugh. We had quite a few drivers this Thursday just gone. MX5 at Daytona is going to be a bunch of fun. Me and Tom Bryan have done a race with some other people before, and it's pretty funny to see MX5s go around the Daytona road course. When you get off the oval, you're just revving it out, but that is also fun as well. That's all about the slipstream, and not all about getting your corners too right. You just have to follow the cars in front and you'll stick with them. Obviously, iRacing Road Season 2 it is a load of fun. We did Season 1 early this year, and I really cannot wait for MX5s and GT4s. But everything's on our website, racerci.com, and you can find the Discord on there as well. I think in the description below you can find the Discord. Information is posted on there for ACC and iRacing. You don't have to see both. You click, you respond to a message with the iRacing logo or the ACC, and you can see one or the other, or maybe both if you would like.
Of course, we have everything for you there, and the glorious part about iRacing is you don't like oval stuff, that's perfectly fine. There's road racing we got going on at the same time. We hope to bring that to you live here on RCI TV as well. TBD on those dates, but as it stands, Charlotte 150 absolutely coming at you this time next week. It's going to be a quiet week, boys, here at RCI. All the championships, all the weekly series anyway, wrapping up this week. In 2 weeks' time, we'll be back with you, of course, for the World Tour. We'll have iRacing races in between now and then. The penultimate round of the World Tour coming at you. The big one, 24 hours of Suzuka in 2 weeks. I'm pumped for that. A lot of stuff, even though the weekly champs are wrapping up right now. New champs have already sprung up. The Janetta Cup for Monday is open for signups as well. And of course, I think everybody already knows the best, worst kept secret of all time is Grim Lilith getting muscled a little bit by Neil Pimlott here. Is, Night Owl, was it season 17 we're going on, Ted? That's coming up, right?
Season 16.
Oh, it's 16, it is.
It is 16. You made me think there, Jesse. Oh, that was close.
I do apologize.
Season 16 opens after this race tonight for signups, and then the pre-qualifying opens tomorrow evening, 7 BST, 7 p.m. BST, should I say. And then you've got 2 weeks to do that. So after the Charlotte 150, the weekend after is when we'll come back for round 1. And it's a bit of a throwback to season 1 of Night Owl. Just over 3 years ago now, since it started, way back in the early days of RCI. It was, from what I remember, it's the first main champ we brought to RCI, and is stuck ever since. And we're still going to have the same pit requirements, potential requirements, but there will be no drop round this time round, like the old days. The points have now changed from top 30 to top 20, a bit more closer on the points, and it is going to be, if anyone remembers, it will be the old calendar, the season 1 calendar. So first race is at Kyalami. Everyone will know that due to the pre-qualifying track, but if you've never seen season 1 before, and I don't think a lot of these people have, then you'll have to wait until the sign-ups close in 2 weeks' time to find out what the rest of the champ is.
It's going to be a throwback to season number 1. We're taking it back to where it all began. Weekly series racing here on RCI essentially started with Night Owl. It's the longest running series that we've ever had here at RCI, going into its 16th championship. It's been absolutely incredible. Race 100 is the season 16 opener. You told me that, Ted. I had no idea. 100 races, and I'm just gonna say it like it is. That's a big win. Whoever wins race 100, that is huge. I'll never forget that.
That's like winning the Le Mans 24, or any 24-hour race for that matter of fact. You know, it's you know, you could have you can win the Suzuka 24 and not win any other race, and that is still a big win. You know, winning the 100th round of Night Owl, 100th race of Night Owl is, you know, it will say on your cup, the 100th win, and you know, no one else is going to have that.
That's going to be quite the accolade for whoever wins race 100. If it's going to be like today, could go to other Jays in the Valley. Might be Jordan Daly, maybe Harry Conway will come back, who knows, but whoever wins that race will have a very special win in RCI history, that's for sure.
Yeah, they sure will. Well, 17 minutes left of the race. Thing just madly, yeah, he did. He came in. He's now in 4th. Came on lap 36, so 2 laps ago. We missed that by a little bit. 2 minutes of the window to go, but everyone has done all their pit requirements. Pit window, we can throw out the window, literally right now. So we still got 17 minutes left. I don't think Justin took tyres. 1 minute 09.3 is shorter than Huell and Daly and Lavalley by 2.5 seconds. So he's 8.3 away from Daly, so not really close there. Daly is quite far from Huell, I think. Huell 7.1 from Lavalley. So I don't think they're going to get anywhere close unless one of them makes a mistake. We've seen from Phil Roberts having that slide because he hit the wet curb with the rear tyre and just slid him out. So it's really a main focus at the minute on these 2 drivers here. Snooty McFleud hasn't got any points in the championship. He's joined mid-season for the last round to have a little bit of fun. But Redford here is sitting in 1st, and he wants to take all these points because he has a big battle going on in the Silver Championship.
Yeah, you still got Inigo Lopez in P3, not too far behind, and Roman Fraller still in P4 in class, even though there's quite the gulf between Lopez and Fraller. But yeah, he'll need every point he can scrape by if he wants to win this championship, and at the moment he is doing it. Just keeping ahead of Snooty McFleud, probably just has the straight line speed into turn 1, though that seemed a bit like an oversteering moment, just lost the rear, and maybe if the Porsche had a good exit out of the last corner. Here he is, going to get very close. Snooty trying to take the outside line, and Redford defending the inside line, and it does look like Redford's just done enough to keep that position for now, but Snooty still looking for the inside line maybe, but he elects to stay behind Redford. So Redford keeps the lead for just 1 more lap as the pit window has now closed.
Oh, this is so close racing right here. If you're Snooty McFleud, the Herbeth Motorsport car, you don't care. You don't care about Redford's championship. That's completely beside the point, and you're just trying to come out here and show them that you can win it when you can. Redford knows that. He's driving super defensively on the racetrack. Of course, he has to, because McFleud's been there for the past 5-10 minutes, just hounding him, probing for a mistake. He hasn't been able to find one. Snooty doesn't want to lose this race after the second pit stop. Of course, McFleud was in the lead, and the way the second pit stops went on, Redford was able to use that to their advantage and get back out in front. The Mike Knott Sheep Racing 95 doing everything they can to try and win this race, and they have to, folks. Just a reminder for those at home, to have a shot to win this championship, Redford has to win this race and most likely has to have the quickest lap. And if that occurs, Fraller finishing in 4th place, it's going to be too close to call. We'll show you, hopefully, the championship results post-race here. As it stands, Jordan Daly is going to be a 2-time Night Owl champion. Tyler Jason Lavalley looking to win another race here at Night Owl in the 35 Mercedes. Huell is going to end up 2nd place in that fight, but a lot still to be decided in 13 and a half minutes.
Well, I just had a look here at the fastest times in silver, and as it stands, Snooty McFleud has a fastest lap that is 3.5 tenths faster than what Mike Redford has done. So if Redford wants to win the silver championship, he'll have to put everything together to stay ahead of Snooty McFleud. The way ACC works is that Redford and Snooty do not know this. The game only shows you the fastest overall time. So at this point, Redford has no idea whether he has that fastest lap or not. So we'll probably see him push all the way to the end. But as it stands, Snooty has the fastest lap in silver.
Yeah, he sure does. And Redford did get pole in silver class for tonight's race. There's a few extra points there. Ralph Huell got the extra points. Not really fighting with Daly's margin on points though, but still a fight between Huell and Lavalley, I believe, with I say that Ralph Huell's down in 8th place with 120 points, and Lavalley was on 136. They're still sort of fighting. Huell got the pole pole position. Lavalle's got the fastest laps, but there is quite a points difference between first and second. So you just have to wait until 12 minutes to go to see where they end up. But at the minute, Jordan Daly is gonna walk away with this win. I don't really want to commentate a curse this, but I think I just did.
Hopefully nobody here has done the commentator's curse. It's been a wild end to what has been a back and forth season 15 of Night Owl. And quickly before we get towards the end of the broadcast, I just want to thank every single one of you, whether you've been here for 5 minutes or you've been here for every race. Thank you so much for being with us here for another ridiculous season of Night Owl. Real ones know Night Owl is the most insane production that we put on here. We get 2, sometimes in tonight's case, 3 wide in the box. We get crazy with it. We have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun with you guys at home as well. We only hope that you enjoy it nearly as much as we do bringing it to you. Big thank you to Cormac for coming in, doing tonight's broadcast, and allowing this insanity to keep on. A big thank you to the drivers for their continued participation in what is the longest running series in RCI history. Will be going on 4 years in just a few months' time. Insanity that we get to do this, and we've seen so much over those years. Big thank you to Ted coming in, managing the series and making sure that Night Owl goes off, and just the mastermind of some of the most memorable races and finishes we've seen, including tonight's championship finale. Big thank you to the partners as well, the event managers, the admins, and of course the stewards, who, even though we don't have live stewards for this series, they still do stewarding post-race, of course. So whatever the results tonight, asterisk pending post-race stewarding, if there is any.
We're still looking here at Mike Redford battling Studi with Fluid. Every now and then there is that little bit of a bigger gap, or it closes in. Right now at the last sector interval, it was a difference of 1.1 seconds. We've seen it a bit closer, down to 4/10 into the final corner. Now looking from Studi with Fluid's Herbert Motorsports car towards Mike Redford's 95 McLaren. Looking here at the intervals I've got, it's now 1.2. Snooty did have a better exit of the last corner, but we've seen before that the straight line speed of that McLaren just helps Redford enough to stay in front going into turn 1, and that helps him enough to keep the lead at this point in silver. Jesse, do you see this fight for silver honors in this race go anywhere, or will it stay like this?
I think right now it's going to stay the way it is. It looks like Redford has weathered the storm from Snooty McFluid right now. Maybe just running out of a little bit of pace. Had a couple of shots, was unable to get it to go. And now maybe Redford's also found a little bit of a groove as well. But certainly something going awry with that Porsche of Snooty McFluid. This might be the way it ends. And almost a sigh of relief for Mike Redford, who was under fire for so long. Many laps that they were just nose to tail, and now a little bit of breathing room. You're able to chill out a little bit, and you start thinking about it if you're Redford. Well, Brawler's in 4th. Is that good enough? Have I done enough? Do I have the fastest lap? And again, there's no way for him to really know if he has the fastest lap right now. He's sort of taking an educated guess. There's nothing he can do about it either. You're probably incapable of running a really quick lap right now anyway, so you're at the mercy of that. It might not be required to win the championship, but it's not going to hurt either way. Ted, I can't wait to see the final standings after this one.
Yeah, I'm ready. I will get them uploaded as soon as we finish, as soon as every driver has finished the race. But it's I don't know who's going to win. I normally in the information channels that the drivers can see, to know when the servers go up and all the information they need to know about the championship in the Discord. I normally post like a little thing with, the pro top 3 and the silver top 3. Normally I have that ready and I know who's gonna be where, but I don't actually know where anyone's gonna be. Even I know Jordan Daly should win this and should win the championship, should I say, due to where he is with the points at this moment in time. I don't know who's gonna be 2nd and 3rd. I'm guessing Harry's gonna be in 2nd. Not sure who's 3rd out of the rest of the guys, because the drop rounds will kick in and stuff like that. Silver is even harder to know where anyone's going to be, because they're still quite close. There's only like what's that, a 17 point gap between Fralla and Lopez, and that's just a draw. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm quite excited to see what the points are going to be.
But by the way, I just want to chime in on something real quick. Allison Bibby in chat is going on about Ash making her build her own gaming PC. Look, that's a quantifiable skill you have now. You know what the parts do. You know how they go together. It didn't explode when you turned it on. That's a quantifiable skill that you have that most people will never have the guts to actually attempt to do. And hey, if something goes wrong now, you at least know how to repair the system. The waitress comment though, that's rather beyond me. Mike Redford has now been held up a little bit. He's had a slow lap to begin with, and here comes Snooty McFlude, Kevin.
Yeah, Snooty right behind the back of Redford. He's already been catching him this entire lap. Ash Bibby just coming in the way of Redford. Redford probably not fully knowing where Ash was going to go. Decided to take it a bit easier, but that led Snooty all the way to his back. Right now, it's about a 4/10 difference, but we know that in this final corner, that Porsche has a better cornering speed and better exit, and it's now very close, just through 0.28 between the two. Snooty has a slipstream. Will he try and go up the inside, or will Redford defend? Looks like Redford sort of takes the inside line, tries to keep it there. It's very close between these two. But it still looks like Redford's just doing enough. There's still one small opportunity for Snooty to go up the inside into turn 2, but it looks like they're still going line to stern, and it looks like Redford might have weathered the storm once again here.
Yeah. No pun intended, by the way. For those of you thinking we're doing that on purpose, we're not.
Yeah, it's one of them. Redford got spun out earlier by Conway, unfortunately. Didn't really suffer too much damage, but then obviously Snooty had a massive lead and then face planted the wall literally, and he's repaired it all now because he had to, else he wouldn't be fighting with Redford now. He'd probably be getting caught / already passed and not being able to stay first or second, and maybe not drop down to third with Lopez. Only 11.5 away, but when you got damage, 11.5 feels like half a second, because you just lose so much time through every single corner. And Hungaroring is there's a lot of corners on Hungaroring, and they're very high speed, and if you don't have the downforce on the front, you're just gonna understeer and wash out wide, especially in the rain. But Redford's doing an amazing job, trying to hold off Snooty, who is joined us for this race only, and just saying, because you joined doesn't mean you can win. So he is doing an amazing job there.
Oh, a little bit of a slide, but everybody's sliding here. It's wet weather racing. All it's going to take is one little slip up in this race, and it's going to completely change between the two of them. Redford holds this lead. By all calculations that I can run through my calculator before it literally caught on fire, Redford at minimum needs to win this race to have a shot to beat Roman Frawler in this championship. Second place may not be good enough, even if he has the fastest lap of the race. Redford leads over McFlude. McFlude, who was over a second behind him a couple of laps ago, has found himself back in the hunt again. Redford back on the defensive. Both cars struggling with grip here late in this run. That's not likely due to tread wear. That's likely due to heat in the tire that they have accrued throughout the run of the race. Nothing going on up front. This is the furthest fight, and it is a fight for the silver lead, and it might be for the championship lead. We'll check the standings after the checkered flag tonight.
It is indeed a very close battle going on between these two. It ebbs and flows all the time. Definitely looks like after turn 2 that Redford is able to take a little bit of a gap to Snooty McFlude, but in this sector here, it's right when Snooty comes back. It was a little bit further away for a little bit, though it might even be an attack on this straight, even though, as I just said, it looked like McFlude went a little bit too wide in order to properly attack them. But it seems to be like the same recipe every time. Snooty gets very close into the last couple of corners, and then Redford is just doing enough to keep that position. Each time I think, oh, is Snooty close enough this time? And if you look at it like this, you're like, he'll have to be able to do it this time, right? But Yeah, I think it's just that McLaren speed versus the Porsche speed on this straight where Redford can just do enough to keep the position.
I just want to know, is this what we spent the remaining budget for Season 15 on? Look at these drone cameras, expertly driven by Cormac Malloy behind the cameras, bringing you action and views of the race that you otherwise normally wouldn't see. We hope nobody's watching in virtual reality tonight, because otherwise this will be quite disorienting. Hopefully everybody's looking at a 2D screen, but this is the state of it with just a couple of laps to go. The gap widening once again for Mike Redford. A moment to breathe, nearly out to a full second here, Ted.
Yeah, sure is. And I didn't know we spent most of the budget on drone cams for this race, but it looks like Night Owl has a bit of a budget to go on. So it's look at this cam work. This is something that you don't see every day. I think this is the only other person that does. I know Stewie likes to do is a bit of drone cams, but this is something else. But yeah, it's 1 minute and 10 seconds left. I think the leader is on last lap, as I think we just heard from the announcer. So yeah, it's one of those things. Last lap, white flag. You want to not end up sliding, making a mistake, letting the other car through. Yes, there's not really going to be. It's not really a fight for championship points, you know, the championship trophies, but it's still a win for Redford. Redford, you know, any win counts, no matter how big or small, and so Redford's just putting his car anywhere he can to not let that Porsche through.
Sure is. I just want to say this about what should be your eventual winner, Tyler Jason LaValle. You want to talk about a driver, the Canadian driver, who has been outshined on every aspect by Jordan Daly, Harry Conway, Joe Dauber, even Timothy Flamger, you could argue as well. He's played second fiddle to everybody. He's got one podium. His best finish outside of that was a top 5. It's been a rough one for LaValle, but here in the finale, didn't mean for that to rhyme either. He is showing that, yes, he has what it takes to compete. I only hope that LaValle comes back for season 16 and gives him one more run for it, because I think he could be, and will likely be, if he comes back next season, a championship contender.
Yeah, sure thing. LaValle is going up to the last corner, followed by the 21 not far behind. So here he is in that lovely V8 Mercedes, coming around the last corner and coming, flashing his lights up to the line. What a lovely win from the 35 Tyler Jason LaValle. And
Canada!
That is one way to celebrate. Here comes Ralph Fuel in second place, AO Racing, number 21, and someone is sideways there, not sure who that was, one of the Ferraris. Here comes Jordan Daly, second to last corner in the BMW. Didn't think he was going to do as well as he thought tonight, but you know, a third place will do him nicely, especially for, I'm going to say, the championship win. Two-time Night Owl champion. We'll find out in a minute, but I'm pretty sure he has won it by a mile. Vex Moon not coming across the line down in 16th
Oh, Phil
place.
Roberts with the late drive-through.
Yeah, just seen that. Roman Fowler coming home as well. Miguel Martins, but yeah, drive through.
Oh, it's close for silver.
So close.
It is. There's Redford. Where's Snooty?
Something's happened. Snooty McFlutie, excuse me, has had an incident here. They're struggling to get the car going. I was so excited I couldn't speak.
Actually,
is he out of fuel?
What I think he's doing, he's not interfering with the Silver Championship. He's letting them go past.
But by virtue of doing this, he is interfering with the Silver Championship. He's changing the result, and he might have just handed the championship to Roman Frawler. But has he done? No, he hasn't, because Frawler was off the lead lap, and he was stuck a lap down. Something, I think, is up with that car, and if there's not, I have no idea what's going on. Maybe you're right. Maybe he is letting Inigo Lopez through, but McFlute has to know now that the worst he could do, that was what he was doing. The worst he could do was third, but I don't know if I'm a huge fan of that move, simply because that is more interfering, but it doesn't matter because Frawler was stuck a lap down. Mike Redford wins the race, but has he won the championship? We'll find out. Inigo Lopez second in that class, and Snooty McFlude third. Tyler Jason LaValle wins it for Canada. and it's Raphael Huell in second place. And ladies and gentlemen, your two-time Night Out champion, Jordan Daly, the second driver in the history of Night Owl to repeat as champion. Juna Savalainen did it a couple of times, and now Jordan Daly.
Yeah, sure it is. And yeah, I'm the same with you, Jesse. I'm not too sure on the ending there with the silver class. It's one of those. I'm not sure if we had live stewarding what would happen, but yeah. But anyway, let's forget about that. The standings are up, pending post-race penalties, but we can get an idea of what is going to happen. And here they are, Jordan Daly taking the win, taking another trophy for a Night Owl championship 2 times now with 247 points, followed by Conway with 234. So quite close there. Daly did need all the points he could get today to beat out Conway due to the drop rounds. Tyler Jason Lavallee taking a lovely 3rd place. I think he jumped up from the 5th place there, beating out some of the drivers. 204 points. Ralph Huell with 182. Graham Lilith with a nice 170. Emo Plate with 163. Joe Dorber 160. Timothy Flamgo 151. Neil Pimlott 149. And in 10th, Phil Roberts 145. On to the next sheet, we got Masatoshi Kaneko with 118, George Barr 102, Justin Madley 79, Oliver Curtin with 78, and the other guy didn't race this season, unfortunately. Kevin, do you want to read out the silver standings?
I can definitely read out the silver standings. We have a champion in Mike Redford, and I think that is Mike Redford winning 2 silver championships in a row in Night Owl with 249 points. Roman Fraler with 246, and Inigo Lopez taking bronze in silver with 239 points. In P4, Sahil Mustak 185, Vex Moondog in P5 170. Then Tim Ireland in P6, 161. Lee Kettle didn't seem today, but still finished 7th with 112 points. Miguel Martins with 92 in P8. Ash Bibby finishing P9 in his first ever championship here at RCI with 87 points. Samuel Jordan finishing the top 10 with 75. As we look to the rest of the standings, in P11, you have myself, Kevin Boss, with 68 points. Snoodiger Fluid with his 1 race getting 56 points up to P12. Callum Kerrigan finishing with 48. And the rest of the drivers have signed out of the championship.
Well, we're just about ready to start with the championship interviews, and I think we're going to start with the 2-time Night Owl champion, Jordan Daly, only the 2nd driver in the history of Night Owl. 99 races, 15 seasons. Only the 2nd time somebody has gone back-to-back in the Night Owl series. Juna Savalainen's done it. You've done it now. And on a day, on a week where you didn't think it was all going to go your way, you just about got it done. Ran a solid podium race. 2-time champion, man. Tell us about it. How do you feel?
Today was stressful. Today was very stressful. I weren't having a good start. I was definitely not having a good time in practice because I was quite a bit off pace. It took me a while to get my rhythm. Actually, it took right up until my lap in qualifying, what put me in 3rd, until I was like, okay, that come out of nowhere because I gained 3 tenths in last corner, and yeah. So I was a little bit confused by that. But I knew I didn't have the pace to be up there with Lavelli and Huell. It was just, it was one of them for that. Yeah. So yeah, today's race was stressful, but being the champ overall, yeah. Well, I don't really know what to say. It's quite a nice feeling, to be fair. I didn't expect with Mr. Conway joining to win this one. To be fair, unfortunately, obviously things happened with him in this race, and it made it a little bit easier for me. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say about that. Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm a champ, and I'm coming back for the next one, hopefully.
Well, you've absolutely screwed me. That was going to be my next question, but I will say that's good to hear. You're going for 3. If you were able to do it, you would only be the third driver to do that, to win 3 different championships. Absolutely insane if you were able to do that. And this week, it's been a week of attrition for you in many different championships. You're dealing with stuff, and then you come into tonight's race where you're not confident. You're able to get it done. Realistically, has it sunk in yet?
I don't know. We'll see after. I guess it's one of them. I won't know till later, will I? Really? Yeah, I'd really given up on tonight, you know. It was only because Harry he's like, no, just carry on, you'll be right. Well, so it was actually because of Mr. Conway that I actually that I carried on, because I were on the brink of giving up today. I've had a bit of a sore neck. But yeah, no, I don't, like I say, don't know if it's sunk in yet. It's it's early doors, isn't it? It's only just happened. We'll see. And obviously, I know. Yeah, it's one of them. We'll see.
Well, Daly, we'll be right back to you in just 1 second. Mike Redford has joined us, and he's a busy man. He's got autographs to sign, so we're gonna go to Mike Redford. Mike, lifted a little late this year, didn't you, for this champ?
Yes, I did. Hi guys.
Hi.
That was the most stressful race I've done all year, and I've done quite a few.
Talk us through it. You were in the lead for a while, right? And then obviously the incident occurred, and then you were behind the 8 ball. You got the lead back. That was excellent job on the racetrack and in the pit lane. And then you were basically hunted by McFlude for the whole final third of that race. Talk us through your race, and were you aware that you were champion when you crossed the line?
I had an idea just because I was keeping a track of where Frollo was, and he was far away, so I don't think he was going to catch us 3. But I don't know if after the incident with Conway, I hit the wall pretty hard, and I had 25 seconds of damage front and back of the car, and I just knew I had to not repair it in the pit stops, so I just had to keep that damage for the whole race. So somehow I was able to keep the pace up. Again, if it was a dry race, it would have been game over with the downforce loss, but I was able to, I don't know, just claw it out, I guess. That was, I don't know what Snooty was doing at the end there, whether he was trying to give the position to Fralla. I thought he'd run out of fuel. But, yeah. The fact that I guess Fralla was a lap down, so I think that's how it worked. But
Yeah, Frowler had already crossed the line. Like you say, we thought Snooty had ran out of fuel, and then we see he was still rolling, and it was a little bit weird. But I think he was just trying to be respectful, you know, joining for the final race and just trying to let you guys have your championship and see where the points went. But you know, it was nice that you guys were racing, in that he didn't ruin, you know, where you had finished. And yeah, you did an amazing race by staying in first. Obviously, having a little contact with Conway didn't help. Conway has, I think, already apologised for that. But
I don't think I will feel the need to report that, I will be honest.
yeah,
Given the result tonight.
but yeah, no, you did an amazing champ as always. And are we going to see you in season 16?
Going for the 3-peat.
I don't know. I'll try.
Well, the biggest question I'd say is, like, will we see Mr. Redford in Pro then if he goes into season 16? Because if my memory is correct, you've now won 2 in a row in silver.
Yeah. I mean, that's been entirely down to the pre-qualifying. I mean, Lopez has been fighting me both seasons, hasn't he? So if one goes, we all go, I guess. Fralla's been up there as well. He joined late in season 14, I think. But he was up there, so I keep missing Donington. That's my issue. I really like that track. Keeps being the only one I'm not there for.
Mike,
Yeah.
is there anyone you want to say hello to, thank on behalf of being a 2-time 9-ounce silver champion?
All the guys from Not Sheep Racing, Malk, anyone else of the guys who were watching. It's great to race with you guys in RCI. I like to represent Malk. I think I've kind of dragged Malk into it sometimes as well. You see him in chat sometimes as well, which is nice. But yeah, all them guys, it's great to race on this community. Yeah.
Well,
have a nice night, guys.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Winner of Night Owl Season 15, the 2-time silver champion, Mike Redford. I can't believe somebody's doing the soundboard in the box. Well, we're going to go down the line here, I think, a little bit. Jordan Daly, we'll go back to you. We do apologize. You're the champion. You've repeated as champion. It's been a long time since anyone's ever done that. Anyone you want to thank, give a shout out to for being the 2-time pro champion?
My lady. She's always around. She's always supporting. And then the boys who I'm always sat in races with, because half of the time can't be bothered, and then it's always nice to have a little chat and, you know, get back into rhythm of it and have a laugh. And then I started wanting to do it a bit more again, and yeah, because you have them days sometimes where you're like, oh, it's gonna be an hard one, I can't, like tonight for example, but, you know, having the boys there, and then obviously you guys just for putting all this on. What else will we do? Do you know? Yeah, I love it. I've been here for a few years now, and I'm going to continue to do so. So yeah, thank you guys.
Do any of you have anything for our pro champion?
I'll let Kevin go first if you've got some questions.
So, how did you attack, like, especially today's race? Because, of course, you had Harry right behind you at the start of the race before anything had happened, with, of course, Rafael Yule and Tyler Jason LaValle right in front. What was your game plan coming into this race?
So, to be fair, me and Harry kind of had a little talk beforehand anyway, so we knew what we were expecting. We knew the conditions in which he'd win and which I'd win, so it were a case of I knew I either had to be in front of him, which, like I said earlier, unfortunately for him, he got taken out because I know full well he had more pace than me today, and then I would have had to finish, I think, anywhere. Well, I'd have had to finish a bit lower down, so I'd have had to have my unfortune. But yeah, it was just one of, once I got the hang of getting a little bit more pace out of it, it would just steady away, focus, make sure I'm getting it all right and not trying to overdrive. I did get a few warnings at the start, but after that, like, I'd settled in and it were plain sailing.
Alright, well, nothing more from me. How about you, Ted?
Well, I'm gonna already know the answer, but are we gonna see you in season 16 for, you know, season 1 revival, if you like, which me and you never took part in? You know, we started from season 2 and made our way through, and then let's say I retired and became the event manager and then did the comms. But we're gonna, like, you gonna be in the next one in the Beamer maybe, or a different car?
Porsche.
Do you know? No, there won't be a Porsche. Seriously, I'm not 100% sure. I've been really enjoying the Beamer recently. Me and you both.
Yes.
Been driving it, exactly. Yeah, we've been driving it quite a lot. Been getting very used to it. I've been enjoying it, but I don't know. This is another thing I was talking to Harry about. So if he's coming back, he were planning on taking the Ferrari again, and I said, well, if I'm gonna go for a 3-time, which he already is. I might try and beat him in his own machinery. So you might see me in a Ferrari next season. We never know.
Oh, that's interesting. See that Daly in a
Oh, you
Ferrari.
got Daly in Ferrari.
I was
Aye.
waiting for that. Yeah, we've seen you in the Beamer, we've seen you in the Merc. You love the Merc, old
Yeah.
Merc and the new Merc, but you know it's one of those struggle bus ones. I think you took it in Wednesday, champ, and you struggled a little bit with it. So yeah, Ferrari's going to be a different pace, and yeah, obviously Conway wants to get his fourth. You want to get your third. You want to tie with him, and it's that's going to be very nice to see, especially with season 1 revival, and just have to see if you or Conway take home the 100th race win.
Oh yeah. Forgot that we're on offer as well. That should be a good one for us to really fight for at the start. I've never, like you were saying, I've never done this this track list, so yeah, I don't actually know what it is. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research, aren't I?
Yeah,
See
you
if I
sure
can.
are.
But yeah, no, I am looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to seeing people like Lavelli and Fuelbike, see if they can give us a fight. Have more people up there. We all want to be fighting. I want some action, a lot of it.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, and well
Cheers.
done on your championship win.
Thanks, guys.
Jordan Daly, now a 2-time Night Owl Series champion. 2 times in a row. Congratulations, Jordan Daly. Moving on to the other pro drivers involved, we've got Harry Conway with us tonight, who retired somewhat early on into the race. Conway, are you with us, number one? And number two, conditions didn't seem to favor you guys out there tonight.
No, the rain was not great, so Ted's on my naughty list today, but...
Is that what led to the incidents, I guess is what I'm asking now?
I think it was just a combination of just being tired and the rain not helping me stop, really, but I'm just here to collect the team's trophy, to be honest.
Here to collect the team's trophy.
Yeah, I'll claim another one for Triple R.
For those of you that don't know, Daly and Conway, friends off the track, competitors on, but they drive for the same team. Conway, you also design the race cars for Triple R as well, right? Every race car has your stamp on it in one way or another.
Yeah, it does. I've done them all. So we've got Daly's car, we've got my car, and we've got Grim's car as well. And I have to shout out Grim for letting me pass last week, even though it didn't get me the championship in the end. I do appreciate that. But yeah, it's been fun just having all of us representing Triple R, and obviously Triple R. Been there since the beginning. I've been there since the first race.
It's true.
Still here, season 15. We'll be back season 16. And to see Daly as well, we picked him up when he was in silver. He's come through the ranks, he's beaten everyone, and now he's 2-time champ. So as far as Triple R is concerned, I'm very proud of what he's done. He gave me a good run for my money, this champ, and I haven't won a race in 2 years until this champ. So it's been very fun, even though today wasn't an amazing result.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. You were semi-retired from competitive sim racing. You've come back. You were the 3-time champ, and now you've kind of put people back on notice for people that don't remember or weren't around whenever you were winning races. You've shown them that you can go out there and you can win and compete almost immediately again. You're still the 3-time champion, even though today didn't go the way you wanted it to go. Is there still the potential of a 4th Night Owl champ in Harry Conway?
I'm not sure. I was definitely not expecting to even fight for it this season, so I'm very happy with how it's gone. And I'll try again next season. I know I'm going to have to miss a race, but I definitely want to win race 100, so I'm going to be there for that. And maybe in the future I can try and get a 4th, but as long as it's Triple R, I don't mind.
Ted, Kevin, do you have anything for the 3-time champion and 2nd place finisher this season?
No, all I wanted to know is whether he was going to be here next season, and he's answered that. So for me, we're all good.
Yeah, well, I would have thought Conway was going to come for next season. If Daly's in it, Conway's in it. 'Cause, you know, they both wanna get the trophy. So, but yeah, you did a fantastic season, Conway. You know, coming back, you've tried to join Night Owl here and there when you can, and you've just not got back into the groove. Obviously, ACC's been up and down over the past few years. Since you were winning it, it's up and down with, you know, the different updates we've had, but you know, this recent 1.8 is working out for many people, and looks like it worked out for you this time round, and you really did well. You know, you got the lowest you got was obviously today, which was 9th place, but you got 3rd at Donny, and then your first place, second place, and second place. So you've done really well in that Ferrari, and I'm guessing that Ferrari just suits how you drive now.
Yeah, I think I tried the Lambo in the Monday Champ and I wasn't really feeling it, and then I went back to the Ferrari and it feels a lot better. I'm a lot more comfy in it. I don't know why, but yeah, it just fits my style a lot better. So it's been nice to just have something reliable when I'm coming back, because obviously it's not, I don't race a lot anymore, I can't put a lot of time in it, but the Ferrari's still be nice to drive.
I can I feel you with that. You know, coming back to racing, I chose the BMW, and like you say, it's just comfortable. It's weird. Like I can't drive. I tried to drive the Porsche. It feels so weird. I can't drive it. Can't keep the tires going. Drove the M4. I'm loving it. It's just when you gel with the car, you just want to stick with it, and yeah, like you're pulling out good results. So no point changing something that isn't broken.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Harry, I know it's not necessarily the result you were looking for, but you got to say, for coming back and shaking off the rust and letting everybody know who you are, and I think you've taught some of the newer drivers a big lesson, and that is, if you are in the race, be very, very careful, because there is a high likelihood you might end up walking away with the hardware. Of course, Harry Conway won Kyalami round number 2. He's had I think you podiumed 4 out of the 5 races coming in to today, or excuse me, 4 out of 4 coming into today. Good luck in the future. We hope to see you out there for the entire season, but we're happy to have you for the 100th, for the anniversary. Congratulations on a successful season, a win this year, and another couple of trophies for Triple R.
Thank you.
Waiting very patiently, we do appreciate that, is Inigo Lopez. Lopez, thank you so much for your patience. Of course, Lopez, not to be outdone, finished 3rd in this championship today, had a strong P2 in the end, and had a season filled to the brim with podium performances. Lopez, talk us first through your day today. What was it like out there?
First off, I'm pretty much frustrated with myself. I knew I had a shot at the championship, but at the end of the day, I went down fighting, and congratulations to Mike and Roman Frawler for a really tough battle throughout the whole season.
Well, your championship, I mean, you're a star has been born here in RCI in the silver class, and it's you. So many podiums, so much hardware taken away this season. Is season 16, first of all, are you coming back for season 16? And the second part of that question is, are we challenging for a championship next year? Or next season, rather?
I don't think I'll be taking season 16 because I definitely need a break from racing. But I think I might come back in 17. I'm definitely going to be down to fight for the title in silver.
That's what I wanted to hear.
I'm down for that.
Absolutely. Lopez, 3rd place. It was another brilliant showing. For those of you that don't know, Lopez does more than Night Owl. He races a lot, and he's had some fantastic finishes in general, not just in the Night Owl series. That's why I say a star has been born here in this particular category, and we hope to see you out there sometime soon as well. Boys, do you have anything for Mr. Lopez?
Well, for me, it's I'm looking forward. Like if Inigo is now having a little break, I've had some good battles with Inigo on track. So whenever you return, I'll be looking forward to fighting with you for the silver champ.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, well done on the 3rd place overall. You know, very tight on the points between the 3 of you at the end there on the standings. So, you know, I'm pretty sure when you do come back to Night Owl at some point, whenever you do, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to take home the top spot in the standings for silver. And maybe by then you might even be in the pro category, which would be nice to see. But yeah, no, amazing race. It's not easy. I make this champ a real pain in the ass for some people. Like obviously Conway tonight did not enjoy it. Daly didn't feel confident, but you know, still did well. Just kept his head in it. But you know, I applaud you for continuing doing Night Owl. It's nice to watch, but it's hard to drive. So yeah, well done with your third place.
Inigo, you have some of the most interesting cars in the field. Shout out the team and your teammates.
Absolutely, Blue Shark E-Racing. I'm just very proud to create and lead this team. Of course, I'm very proud of Vex for his rookie season here in Night Owl.
Here we go.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Lopez, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for your patience, and also thank you for just taking part in a season that was full of twists and turns. You were absolutely a part of it till the end. I couldn't be more happy to have you around, and I do appreciate everything that you've accomplished on the track in just the last like 3 months or so here at RCI. A name to be reckoned with, a force to be reckoned with potentially. Inigo Lopez, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
We move on to the final interview of the night, and this is the very rare occurrence of bullying occurring live on air when Tim Peck's not in the box, and that is the interview with Ash Bibby on how his first season ended in RCI. Ash, you were so apprehensive whenever we were doing season 14 to get involved. You decided to enter season 15 of Night Owl. It was a roller coaster of a season, I can assume. Talk us through your experience on track.
It's been a traumatic experience, but an enjoyable traumatic experience. It's hard to really put in words. You know, I've been watching Daily Race with you guys for quite a while now, and I always said that, you know, one day I'll hop on track and I'll see what I can do. Yeah, I'm nowhere near pace sometimes, but I'm finishing the races and I'm learning. So I think it's all about learning really, and hopefully next season I'll start moving up that pack a little bit.
I'm happy to hear that, and you have such a strong support structure around you. Friends, family, loved ones, and admittedly us up here in the booth as well, because I mean now you're one of us, but just in general, it's good to see the progression tonight. There were moments there, I mean, where, you know, your very first race, you were in trouble almost the entire race. Tonight, even in the rain, I feel like you managed it quite well. And of course, continuing that streak, or continuing, not last. You beat out cars that didn't finish the race tonight and got championship points. Maybe next season, of course, every race you do, you get better at it. But something interesting happening next season as well. First of all, Ash, you coming back season 16?
Definitely be back.
Okay, well, that is an interesting point to make to all of you at home still with us on RCI TV. Next season will be a season like no other. We will be repeating the same tracks that we did in Night Owl season number 1. It will have the 100th race. Special for another reason, Night Owl season 16. It is the first sponsored season of racing here at RCI outside of endurance competition. That's right, season 16 will be the Ash Bibby Presents Night Owl season 16. That's a working title, not finished. But why is it going to be the Ash Bibby Championship for season 16? It's quite simple. If you donate around 50 pounds or dollars, whichever you prefer, I don't care either way, you earned the right, barring approval by the admins here at RCI, to self-sponsor a racing series of your choice. Ash has done that over the past month and a half, and that means Ash Bibby will be the title sponsor of season 16.
Yeah, and a big season it will be as well. So, like you say, the 100th race, almost Christmas time. It's a nice sight to see. And I just like to say, Ash, 9th in the championship. You beat out the like 4 of the drivers that stayed in it. You got some good points. 87 points is a very good for your first championship. Ever. It's I don't think I got that many points when I first started. I was all over the track. I was mostly in the gravel pits, but yeah, you've kept that car on track. You did very well tonight with the faster cars coming up behind you. You got out of the way where you can. In the wet, it's harder because the car doesn't like to move as quickly, but you did an amazing job, and I can see you doing well next season. And it's like Jesse says, you gain more experience every time you get in the car and on the track. You did very well today.
I kind of like the rain. I don't know why. It's kind of scary.
Well, you're British, so that kind of explains that. Moving on, Ash, what you're going to be racing in a series with your name on it. What does that do to you mentally? Because I don't think any of us have ever done that in our career.
Oh well, in the words of Hancock, you deserve better. I will be better.
Wow. He brought out the obscure Will Smith reference on this broadcast. Yeah, I don't know what that means, but I think you're doing fine. You're learning, you're getting better at it, but it is a thrill to have you on the track as well. And by the way, just a personal note is something we caught. Nice blue flag back marker ship out there today, I would say. You did a really good job with that. And believe it or not, some people do struggle with it. Ash, anyone you want to thank, shout out before we end tonight?
Just really want to thank Daly, really, for coaching me through difficult times on the tracks and showing me better lines to take and breaking points. You know, without Daly behind me, I probably wouldn't even be racing, really. And really the wife for putting up with me and watching every week.
By the way, she was chatting some things in the chat. I was told not to mention PC parts around her, around you. I don't know what that means. Something going on in the house, hold potentially.
I have a PC building habit.
I see. Well, Ash, we'll see you not only on track next season, right? We're going to see you in the headline as the title sponsor of the series as well. Congratulations on your maiden voyage. It's only up from here. We hope to see you out there real soon. Get some practice in. We'll see you back for the 100th running of Night Owl. Boys, it's been a long day. There's been twists and turns around every single lap here. Mike Redford, the surprise almost. I daren't say that about Mike considering how strong his season was, but the surprise out of nowhere almost win. He had to have everything go his way, and on a night where it didn't, Mike persevered and won the race. He had the necessary bonus points, and he beat Frawler by just 3 points. Daly and Conway, we knew it was going to come down to those two, but not even we could guess how that was going to end. Kevin Boss, final thoughts on the night.
It's been, in a lot of ways, a great finale. It was a shame that we didn't have the Conway v Daly battle on track after the little mishaps that Conway had early on in the race. But yeah, that fight between Redford and McFlute for like the last 15-20 minutes was insane to see, and that Redford had to push so hard to get that silver win was great to see. So for a finale, I think all in all it was a very good race.
Well, it has been an amazing night with you two by my side and Cormac on the cameras, but unfortunately, good things do come to an end, but we will see you in 2 weeks' time. Not long to go. We've still got some we've still got the World Tour going on. We've got some iRacing stuff going on. We've got Night Owl Open. We'll have Wednesday Camp opening on the 25th for the sign-ups. So head over to racerci.com. You can find all that information there. You can find our student rules, our Discord rules. You can find out where the Discord is. You can find everything on our website in the description below, and also our partners. One partner to go is AK Esports. It's a leader in esports management and competitions around the world. You can find out more in the description below, or you can go to akesports.it. But that will be it from us. You have been here with Kevin Boss and Jesse Lee on the microphones with me, and Cormac behind the cameras. But until next time, we'll see you later.
Bye bye.